they're getting bumped up, right? Those are serving as minor leaguers. The question is, does that hurt the tournament or does it help the tournament? I think it hurts the caliber of games we get early on.
Yeah.
But that's why, again, I say if you expand to 80, you're going to push down, you're going to eliminate a number of those 16s and 15s before they're going to play games against themselves, which will be competitive games. And then you get, again, teams like themselves playing themselves, which would be competitive games. And then we get to the next round where, like, to me, I don't know, we're not going to shrink it down to 32. So if we've got blowouts right now at 68, then to me we need more competitive games somewhere in there.
Yeah. By the way, notable Friday, 16 games, all won by the betting favorite.
Yeah.
I mean, not one betting upset. Of course, I was 15-1 that day. Of course, which team got me? Mizzou. But that's kind of been a trend this year.
I don't know. I mean, like the tournament. I'm willing to do. Let's just let it settle down.
Yeah.
There's so many variables that have been changed. Let's let it settle down. Let's see where it goes. Let's see if this is just the rush right now, and we'll see some stability come. Let's see if they can put some guardrails up, and we'll see it. But the tournament's still great.
Yeah,
I still love it.
I thought I saw somewhere that was 30 or 31 teams that were in this year were not in a year ago. So they're recycling new teams in. What kind of an impact that has, but the first weekend of the tournament, pretty damn exciting. There was some really high level basketball. There was some amazing drama. It still remains the best 4-day stretch of the sports year.
What to take away from our local schools? One, I mean, I've said all along, without any inside information, that it feels like this is Bill Self's last year. He certainly didn't commit to coming back.
No, and I noted last night that, it's. I think there's a big distinction to be drawn between something that's just said, in the middle of an answer and something that's a response to a direct question. And Bill Self was asked a direct question, but he didn't say, "I'm staying," or "Yeah, I'll be back." Said I'm going to think about it. I get, that's definitely whoa, okay, that's different, that's new, because I can't imagine another time when he would have been asked that question and not said at least some version of, "Oh yeah, I'll be back." And Bill
Self is not strike me as the type that's like, well, I want some attention. I want everyone to beg me to come back.
No,
this is the closest he's come to saying, I've got it, or he did. He's not in any way. Just a week or two ago, he's like, don't read anything into that.
Yeah.
And at that time, I told you, I'm like, well, I am. It does not feel the same, and I feel validated today that Bill Self is not saying I'm back. He made it sound a week or two ago like there's nothing to this. There clearly was. There clearly is, and will be. Even if he comes back, it will be almost a week-to-week situation based upon his health.
Yeah.
I mean, he said, I love what I do, but I want to feel good doing it.
Exactly. I thought that was big.
I mean, you even mention that, then that's, even though he looks great and he seems to be, in better physical condition, like, he's clearly telling you that sometimes he doesn't feel good.
Yeah. Someone said, I think the question initially was, some of the issues you've had on and off the court, because I really haven't had any issues on the court. Off the court's a little different story.
Yeah.
He was pretty candid. In a moment where he could have easily deflected and said, I got no plans right now. I'm good. I feel good.
Selfishly, I hope he's back. He's an amazing basketball coach.
Yeah.
As a human being, I hope he does whatever's best for his long-term health and his family's enjoyment. Yeah. Whatever works best for him. I mean, he's got a decision to make. But, was this a team that was good enough to win a championship? I mean,
no.
Was there a scenario where this could have worked? Because I bring this up because we talked about it beforehand. What's at stake? Well, they need to get past the first weekend. Otherwise, this continues a trend. Now, just once since 2018. Is it 18 or 19? I forget. That they have, been to the second round.
18. Since 18, yeah. Because they...
And again, I will point out a pandemic year, numerous injuries. at least a couple big ones, Dazabuke and McCuller, and to Bill Self.
Yeah.
Health
Because he
situation.
was a one seed in the first of those 4 years.
But we're 2 years away from 10 years of it. I mean, next year will be, the 2 years. 2 years away from it being 10 years since they've advanced past the second round. I know there's some anomalies in there, but
yeah,
there's enough that this is a trend. And, what happened to my phone was blown up about, like, well, why did Bill Self sub in Elmarco Jackson? Well, I can tell you why he subbed him in, because he had no fouls. And he wanted him to commit the foul, not Flory Badunga, who picked up his fourth on the last time. He wanted him to take more, allow more time. Cole Rosario was the one with a real quick foul early. But then he did a nice job of defending.
I wish he would have waited another second or so.
Yeah, he did a nice job of defending out to the half court. I mean, I think that was the plan. When they get to half court, that's when you foul him. Mm-hmm. Make him take as much time as you can to get to half court, but then foul him at half court. I believe, what the plan would be. Maybe you hedge it and say 5 feet, 10 feet. I don't know. With kids, I mean, I don't think you try to get to the nth degree. Maybe you're coaching half court. That's a good spot, because if they occurs to them late and then they go foul, they still have time to get to them before a guy probably rises and fires, and you put them on the line for 3, right? So I think that was probably the plan. Was that half court's probably the magic number. Cole Rosario clearly didn't. He understood that they were supposed to foul. He didn't understand the first time that he was supposed to not foul until they get to half court. So the execution wasn't that great. So you'd be like, well, they just didn't execute. All right, well. Is that the reality? That part of the brilliance of Bill Self is when you've been there for 4 years, all this stuff is ingrained in you. When everybody's brand new, and Bill Self's got to spend all this time laying everything out because there's nothing that's already ingrained in anybody, because 75-80% of the team is brand new, that he can't get to the nuances of the game the way he would if he had kids year after year after year after year. And so his style of coaching is going to be harmed more than others. I don't know. I can't tell you that. I can tell you that Iowa looked really well coached.
Boy, howdy.
And they're a largely new team. Now, the point guard's been with them through 3 schools.
I think everybody else is in their first year.
So I think you can still coach. Ben McCollum's proven that. Talk about a guy being thrown into the fire. Oh, well, he's had experience with it. Well, D2. They're slapping cash around to get guys. Like, he clearly identified a good group that would fit together. Now, I don't want to read too much into 2 wins, although beating Florida, who is red hot, is one hell of an accomplishment. But they are a 9 seed. They did not stroll in here as a 2, like they were just this fine orchestra playing away all year. Like, they were grinding and bumping, and they were mediocrity in the Big Ten. Let's be clear. And now they've won 2 games in a row in the tournament. But I will say that you can't deny McCollum seems to get tournament basketball.
Yeah.
He gets that. Is the game, is the style passing Bill Self by? You're not going to fire Bill Self. We're going to talk about Mizzou. I don't think you're going to fire Dennis Gates either, but I don't know that you're giving him an extension, but we'll get to them in a minute. But, what is the lesson to take away from this Kansas team? I'll give you one to chew on. Is the lesson that don't give $3 million or whatever they gave to Darren Peterson. Give 3 guys $1 million. Like, would this team have been better without Darren Peterson? And if you're like, well, I think you just can't walk away from talent when you get a chance to get the talent. It's not walking away from talent anymore. Like, no, there's not a standardized salary cap that everybody has to live under. But Bill Self has at least a soft cap that he's told this is how much you've got to spend. Now, he can go ask for more. And probably something like that happened with Peters. They're probably like, I'll give you this much for the roster. I'll give you this much. He knows about how much he's got, and he's like, listen, boys, I'm going to tell you, that's pretty good. But if you got $2 million more, I can get this guy. Okay, this guy's worth it. Was he? I think that's a real question. Because if the answer is like, you can't walk away from that kind of talent, well, I don't see DeBonsa playing in either.
Right.
Those were by far, the 2 most expensive players. There are other great freshmen, and I don't know where Cam Boozer came in. He's probably 3rd. I know A-Cup probably wasn't 4th. I'm sure he was really expensive.
Yeah.
But there was kind of A and B in whatever order, DeBonsa and Peterson, and then there was C in Boozer, and then there was the rest. And could you have put a full court press on and gotten is Acuff at 1.5 and Peterson's at 3? Is Acuff at 2? Well, okay, a $2 million and a $1 million is worth more than a $3 million. Like, these are the lessons that every coach is trying to study and figure out. And I do think that there should be, is it, a case of we've got to do a better job of understanding who the individual is. Like, okay, the cramp scare that apparently sent Darren Peterson down the spiral of being terrified of playing anytime something didn't feel right. Could you have gotten that background from someone? I don't know. But I know NBA teams send young scouts into bars on colleges to ask around and find out, was this guy I'm about to draft an a-hole? NFL teams do it as well. Mm-hmm. Let's prowl around campus and let's see what we hear. What's the rumor about this kid? What's the rumor about that kid? Is this kid always getting in fights? Does this guy start trouble? They talk to everybody. That's more of what you got to be now if you're a college program. Like, could you have seen Darren Peterson's in and out of the lineup if you'd done more study? Do you need to take $500,000 out of the budget for players and put it into private investigators? You think I'm kidding, but I'm not.
Would have been good investment.
I mean, if you could have known that this is what it was going to be, you wouldn't have spent the money on Peterson. He wasn't worth it. Let's be clear. There's no way to view it at the end other than he was not worth the money that Kansas paid him. That is a fact. Now, what could also be a fact is, yeah, he didn't end up being worth it, but it was just because of extenuating circumstances. But it was because of just a run of bad luck. I'm open to that. But that's what Bill Self and his staff have to figure out, right? Okay, he wasn't worth it. We didn't get the return on investment. But did we do anything wrong, or did we just get unlucky? Yeah. I mean, Bo Jackson blew up his hip. Did he do something wrong, or did he get unlucky? He got unlucky. I mean, injuries happen. Did the Royals do something wrong with Bo Jackson, letting him play football? No, they wouldn't have had him otherwise. They just got unlucky. He got hurt playing football. Everybody knew it was a risk. They put a 3rd or 4th round pick into him. It was still a good return for the Royals. At the end of the day, you've got to determine those kind of things. But at the end of the 1 year you knew you'd have Darren Peterson, you did not get enough for him. So should you have spent your money differently? Would Bill Self have been better having some depth? I mean, hindsight's 20/20, but we've been talking about this all year. I think we've all been of the opinion that this one isn't working out. And I think that's the lesson you got to learn. If you've got an $8 million budget and you put $3 million into one player, is that good spending?
Yeah. A couple things. One just occurred to me off of what you said there. One of them is new. I'll work backwards. The idea all year long that with these guys they can't find a way to get things to work when Peterson's on the court, the other players don't seem. Is it because if the other players were better, were they asking too much of the guys who aren't Darren Peterson to find a way to be productive in an offense when somebody else is dominating the ball? Was that never going to come around because of the limitation of the other guys? That's one thing.
Or is Darren Peterson James Harden and Russell Westbrook? Is he a professional stat accumulation guy and not a guy that any kind of team ball is going to be played through? Listen, even in coming back, their offense sucked. Mm-hmm. It was Melvin Council imitating Darren Peterson. Yeah. It was Trey White. What does Trey White do? Look to spot up and fire. And what did we see him doing? Driving. It was look at a guy and we're going to dribble drive one-on-one.
They lived on putbacks.
That's all.
Offensive rebounds and putbacks.
And usually their drives did not come home and they got on the glass.
Yeah.
And by the way, Cole Rosario was out of bounds. Was he standing out of bounds when he threw the ball? No. But had he stepped out of bounds and then reestablished position inbounds to where he was legal to touch the ball? No. And they missed it. So the idea that we're right there and if we're still playing, you got a kiss along the way because he was out of bounds.
Yeah.
I don't mind that they missed it. They missed it. It happens. KU is St. John's equal. They're very, but you didn't sign up to be St. John's equal. Let's be clear. That is a disappointment for Kansas basketball. It's definitely a disappointment on the heels of what they've been for the last 3 years on top of it.
Yeah. And a lot of the debate we've talked about over the last 3 years at least has been how much of this is their inability to completely adjust to the new era of basketball, and how much of it is the addition of Arizona and Houston as bullies in the Big 12 Conference. Well, if it was the second one, they might not play as well in the conference or might not win conference championships, but that wouldn't affect you in March. You would at least see a team, okay, we're free of Arizona and Houston, now let's go kick some butt from other schools. That hasn't happened. So the balance of whether it's the new basketball or it's the new conference mates, the NCAA tournament play the last four years would suggest that it's more the inability to put the team together the way it needs to be put together to win in March.
Well, and let's not act like, well, they ran into a tough cookie in St. John's, and St. John's is better than a 5 seed because they kind of screwed around early and that sandbagged them, so it was a bad draw for Kansas. California Baptist, our buddy was, a 6 or 7 team parlay, and all he needed to hit it was cover 14 and a hook against Cal Baptist, and we never thought he had it.
No.
Not at any time did any of us in that room think, you got it, Tink, you're good.
It was a 6-point game in the final minutes.
Yeah.
Like, how did this happen?
So, I mean, the idea that, this is just a tough matchup, no, this is who they've been all year. They have been in the mud. Even when they beat Arizona, they dragged Arizona in the mud. They didn't come out and, play beautiful ball.
And that's why I made the comparison a couple weeks ago to the Chiefs of last year. And I think in the end it proved somewhat prophetic. You look back and go, they were waiting on the same thing, a magical combination of a Hall of Fame head coach and a brilliantly talented player to get things together and make a run. And when you look back, you realize they were never going to make that run. Why did the game end? Why did their season end yesterday? Because that's where it was supposed. That's always where it was going to end.
I mean, you've got to have a really specific roster to take Darren Peterson over Acuff. Forget about DeBonsa. Gone.
Yeah.
You can't even see that down the road.
No.
That is gone. The idea that you would take Peterson over Acuff, did you watch that kid play?
Well, he's special.
Did you watch how he had 30 some odd, and it never felt like he was ball hogging. And you can't run an offense seemingly with Peterson on the floor. Now Rick Pitino will get after you. He'll defend.
Yeah.
He can watch tape. He's a Hall of Famer. There's no doubt, right? He does not make it easy. So I don't want to
struggle with the pressure.
I don't want to minimize what St. John's did. They knew what was coming at them. They were ready for it. They had a great game plan. But this team, when have you seen a Bill Self offense look this clunky? I mean, we've
Never.
watched him evolve from the high-low to the weave to whatever it is, to 4 out, the 22 team, 4 out, 1 in, and, it's never looked this like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
I mean, they're at 6 seconds, and here we go again with some dribble drive and a spin and a weave and a turn and then a 25% shot being allowed. When have we seen that time and time and time and trip after trip after trip down the floor? I mean, I am open to the newness of the players being a contributor to it, but it also is, it never worked with Peterson.
No. I've seen that kind of offense in black and gold a lot. There are times I watch them go, am I watching Mizzou? Because some of the guys, it's just like, does anyone know where they're supposed to be or what they're supposed to do on this?
That's what it. I mean,
it was stunning to watch.
Yeah, it was. It really was. 913-381-0810. We got the phone lines open. 913-381-0810. We'll take your phone calls. I also want to talk some Missouri Tiger basketball. What went wrong and where do they go from here? We'll do it next here in the program. All right, we're talking tournament basketball. Dismal end. Everybody's all fired up to talk about their KU and Mizzou. Not really.
No, not as much.
Not getting a lot of fire on that one.
Want to hear an amazing stat from yesterday?
I would like to hear an amazing stat. It's amazed me.
St. John's in Kansas. St. John's shot worse than 37% from the field, 32% from three, and 55% from the line. 37, 32, 55. Before yesterday, teams that did that, all three of those in an NCAA tournament game, had lost 19 straight, 48 of 49, and 72 of 74 in a streak that runs back almost 20 years. That's the needle that St. John's threaded yesterday with those numbers. Now, part of it was massive turnovers, but 72 of 74 before yesterday.
Yeah, but KU's numbers weren't.
No, well, they were, but that's part of why. It's part of the story. It's there are reasons for that, but that doesn't normally happen. Clearly, twice in the last 20 years out of 74 times.
36, 31, 55.
Yeah.
KU was 44, 36, 71.
Yeah. The turnovers were.
You think they were a problem?
A smidge. Just a little bit. A little bit.
It was a rock fight game.
Yeah.
It was a rock fight game. And, Kansas was almost good enough to get it done, but that's kind of what they've been all year.
Yes.
That's where they've been all year. 9133-810-810. I want to get Bruce in here because he's waiting patiently, and we'll talk some Mizzou. Bruce, you're in the program. What's going on, buddy?
You wanted some Missouri Fire?
I'll
dovetail off your Missouri. Want to talk to Missouri basketball? Here we go. Yeah, take some notes. I want to ask some questions. I'll shut the hell up. You answer questions. Now, I want to know how many threes did Cruz throw up, and how many did he make? How many did he hit the backboard, and how many, whether he hit the backboard or not, actually touched the rim? That's question number one.
I'd have to go back and look on the rim. I know he made none. So
okay, well there we go. Well, you can finish those. Hang on.
Okay.
And how many assists has Theo or Theo Berry made since the last Missouri Tigers win? How many assists do we have from our point guard? At least Gates, I'll give him credit. He didn't start him in the tournament. Thank goodness he had Stone out there, or it would have been an abysmal beat down. And by the way,
he did start Barrett, but he went with Robinson for the most part.
Yes. Yeah, he started him, but he went away from him pretty quick.
Yeah, he only played 15 minutes, and there's a reason for that.
I'll give him credit for that then, but still, he played too much. I guarantee you that. Whatever he played, it was too much. But I want to know how many assists he's had since our last Missouri win, and how many points he scored, if you want to throw that in there. I want to know where's the game reminded me of the Christians versus the convicts when the Irish would play the U, and they would go down there because it was like a football team. Screw this is on the officials more than anybody. I'll get back to Missouri when I think about what I was going to say there, but they just, you might as well throw away James. The peach basket idea, taking that away and putting a rim up there with a net. I'll give you that one. Okay, that's okay. But what about the traveling and the offense? How many offensive fouls were called against Miami, against Missouri? And if you guys never saw a guy that was built like a linebacker take one of our pint-sized freaking guards, lower their shoulder in the paint, knock him over the photographers, and stand there and hit a layup, or if he missed it, it was rebounded by Miami, where our bigs were out, I guess, guarding the three-point shooters. I never saw our 7-footer or Phillips or Mitch. I never saw anybody that was over 6.5 foot around the rim trying to go up and clean off that boards. Oh, I know what I wanted to ask. How many offensive boards did Miami have versus how many total rebounds, offensive and defensive, did Missouri have? I want to know that stat.
Miami had 16 offensive rebounds.
As far as Dennis Gates, hang on.
Okay.
Well, you're getting so far down the road, we're not going to remember any of it, Bruce. So I mean, if you want some answers, you're going to have to let him give it along the way.
Go ahead.
I mean, so like you're a machine gun here of ideas, and I appreciate your passion and everything, but Barrett started.
Yeah, Barrett started. Played 15 minutes. They went to Robinson, unfortunately, because Barrett couldn't recognize when they were changing defenses. Didn't know what to play. That's not good.
Barrett's had 15 assists in the last 4 games since they won, including 7 against Kentucky. They got crushed on the boards, 46-30 overall, which is a fundamental issue. If your goal and building a team is to be one of the biggest teams in college basketball, which is always what Leonard Hamilton did and what Gates is clearly trying to do as well at Missouri, then you better win on the boards. And they got crushed. They got crushed on the boards.
Agree.
So to your point, I mean, offensive rebounds, Miami had 16 of them compared to 7 for Missouri. So
over twice as many.
Yeah, I mean it's they were physically beaten by Miami. Miami's definitively a better team. I think we come away from that.
Is there not a rule? And Gene Sarator came in and said it himself. And this might have been Nebraska and Florida, but Gene Sarator came on and said it. Once the whistle blows, the play is dead, and there is to be no more contact. And he said, however, when this player who was running from Nebraska ran 8 feet or 12 feet from the free throw line to almost the baseline, and the other guy threw his arms out, hit him in the neck and the head. I guess because he didn't break his nose or have a gash on his forehead like Stone had, where they had to clean up blood for 30 minutes. I guess that's a subjective rule.
Well,
it's not objective. That's subjective. There wasn't no flagrant foul.
There is. It's all. And Bruce, thank you for the call. I appreciate it. It's all subjective, obviously, right? Like, I mean, there's contact. You're not supposed to be shoving a guy, but they allow. You're not supposed to run a guy over, but they allow you to dip the shoulder and move in a guy. I mean, we understand the nuances. Listen,
figure out what the officials are calling and go by it.
You've got plenty of ammunition. We don't need to get into the officials. Yeah. All right. I mean, and there was a technical foul that was given in the Tennessee-Virginia game. A Virginia kid got boxed out on the sideline for a ball going out of bounds. He didn't like it, and he gave the guy a shoving. They gave him a technical. That was after the whistle. I mean, we've watched enough basketball. Okay, we don't need to do basketball 101 here. Let's focus on Missouri. It sucked, and they are the definition, I would say now, of power basketball mediocrity. Right? Mediocrity is not missing the tournament 3 or 4 years in a row. You suck.
Yeah.
K-State sucked. Okay? They have sucked.
If you're in a power
that has been the problem.
league,
if you're in a power conference, you're supposed to make it. If you don't make it, something's gone wrong. They put, 10?
10.
Big Ten teams in? They put 10 SEC teams.
10 SEC teams.
Got in the league. Got in the tournament out of 16. You don't want to be. No one's goal is acceptable as being bottom 6. No. If that's acceptable, get out of the league. Okay? Vanderbilt's not accepting it anymore. They're paying people, and they don't accept that in football or basketball.
Yeah.
Okay? Now that it's like, well, we can buy our way, guess what? Our alums are pretty rich. So screw you, Alabama. We can play this game now. Right? And so there's no excuse. And so, look, they are mediocrity personified. The question is, how long do you go with it, and who can you find that can do it better? Like, I think next year's a pivotal year for Dennis Gates. You're not going to run him now with the recruiting class he's got coming in, but
that's why you put the focus on next year.
Well, yeah, but when do the star players ever really live up to the billing under Dennis Gates? I mean, what do you think you've got Acuff and DeBonsa getting ready to take the floor for Missouri next year? Because I'll bet the returns are less.
Yeah, yes. And it isn't just that they haven't won in the NCAA tournament. They've just been bad in March period the last 3 years. They had a decent closeout in their first year in 23, and they won a game in the NCAA tournament. Last 3 years, 1-13 in games played after March 1st. 1 March win in 3 years.
That's a rough go. That's a rough go. 913-810-810. Let's talk to Ted. You're in the program, Ted. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, gentlemen. Thanks for taking the call. Calling about the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Okay.
And Ben McCollum. And just kind of I don't know if you've seen any of the press or anything. just some things that came out of the game. One of the guys, they asked him, what was your game plan? He said, bully the bullies. I know there was a brouhaha, and Golden was mouthing off and went crazy, and McCollum came right back at him and said something about, in the interview, they got all sensitive over there. We'll play, we'll fight, we'll do whatever. So there was a toughness mentality that Iowa hasn't had for so long. We've been stranded on the desert island. We're thrilled to have McCollum. I don't know. People are probably going to come knocking on the door, for him when jobs start opening. The guy wins in March. That's a big thing. He wins in March, and that roster is not talented, and they're not shooting. Bennett Sturtz, I don't know. He was 4 for 17 in the first round, and he was 0 for 9 from the 3-point line. I think they're shooting under 40% from the field in 2 games. So there's just a toughness mentality with his way of coaching. So
yeah, I going in as a 9 seed is not anyone's plan, right? Let's be clear about that. Being 500, which is what I think they were in the Big Ten, is not anybody's plan. So these 2 games have been great. They've done a fantastic job, and for his first year, outstanding, an outstanding job, right? But I'd caution putting the checkered flag up that McCollum has proven himself to be the next Coach K. All right,
he has to recruit. He can't consistently win in that conference with the players that are on this roster. We continue to have these kind of players. I nothing against those guys play their guts out, and they play with toughness, and that's a mentality. But he needs better talent, and we'll see if he can go get those guys.
Well, we'll see if they'll pay for him. I mean, I don't think it's as much these days about him. I think the one thing I saw the breakdown, they had this on the game where like 2 of his kids are Wyoming transfers. One of them came with him obviously through 2 stops. Sturtz from Northwest Missouri State. There was one junior college kid, and
he got the kid from Spain, but he was the Horizon Player of the Year for Bulgaris, who made the 3-pointer at the end.
Northwest Florida State is where one of the 5 starters was from.
Yeah, which I think might be JUCO.
He had one kid. He only had one kid that was from the McCaffrey regime.
Yeah, the Spanish kid's from Robert Morris. So listen, in 1 year, like there clearly was a mass exodus, or he ran off everyone who was there. And by the way, Fran McCaffrey can coach because he had Penn in the tournament in his first year. He knows what he's doing. But yeah, he built a roster, and I think that you should feel pretty good about it. But now, Sturtz, I know, didn't have a great game offensively as far as piling up the points, but you never mind having the ball in his hands. Like that's a nice piece to have.
And they drew up a pretty nice one for the game winner.
He's very underrated defensively too. And in Iowa, they hung on the boards with Florida, which nobody thought they could do. And they didn't shoot well from the free throw line. Iowa didn't either. But they just take people out of what they want to do offensively, and they play their game.
Yeah. No, listen. If I'm an Iowa fan, I'm thrilled with year 1. Thrilled. I mean, but a big part of it is winning that game against Florida. I mean, it'd be kind of Fran McCaffrey all over again if he went out after just winning 1 game.
If that shot misses.
So
chance to go for the tie,
and Ted, I'm not trying to. I love Ben McCollum, and I was rooting for him in that game, and I used to love talking to him when he was at Northwest Missouri State. I wish him all the success in the world. I just don't. I caution people along the way so that you don't build it up to a point to where next year when he finishes 6th in the Big Ten, which would be an improvement, but then loses in the first round, like what the hell are you doing? And then if he's 8th in the Big Ten and goes out in the first round, and you've built it up that like, well, wait a minute, I thought we had.
Why are we taking a step back?
Yeah, let's just see. Let's let him. He's gone up 2 notches. Big step to Drake and another big step to Iowa. Now let's let him perform, and we'll see what we got. But the early returns are certainly very good with Ben McCollum. All right, wrapping up hour number one. Got a lot coming up still here in the program. We're going to talk to Matt Derrick. We've got news. Travis Kelce, 3-year contract, $54 million. Got to still want to see some more details on that. Are those void years? Is that just to stretch the money out, bring the number down? Are we really thinking he's going to play 3 years? I will say this: if it is a legit deal, we know it's no more messing around with him playing someplace else.
Right.
This should finish it off that he's going to be in a Chiefs uniform. We'll talk about that with Matt Derrick. We've got Gabe DeArmond coming up. We'll put a bow on the Mizzou basketball season. 2-minute drill still to come. Henry Greenstein was going to be with us from the Lawrence Journal World. Does a great job covering the Hawks. We'll get his thoughts on the season and, whether or not Bill Self's going to be around. So we got a lot to get to here today in the program. Stay tuned. Much, much more coming your way. Matt Derrick coming your way next.
All right, before Iowa, what was the last team to shoot 70% from inside the arc against a number 1 seed? Brought to you by La Feta Delicatessen.
Yes, indeed. Time to talk to Matt Derrick. He's brought to you by our friends at Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. You know, they've got it all up and running now. The concrete, the asphalt, whatever you need. They've been doing it, been solving these parking lot problems for 30 years. Find out right now for yourself. Go to GannAsphalt.com. GannAsphalt.com. Get your bid in. Things start getting really, really busy in April, whether you just need some curbing done, maybe you need some striping, maybe some seal coating, maybe you need the entire parking lot built. Either way, get on the schedule now. Kansas City's best for more than 30 years is Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Find them online at GannAsphalt.com. We welcome Matt Derrick to the program. Matt, how are you, buddy?
I am doing well, Soren. I wish it was closer to 90 today than 40, but I'll take it.
Yeah, well, you're going to have that. Just don't worry.
Just wait.
I think 2 days
day,
or something.
probably.
Okay. You're going to get
It's
it.
just been insane.
It's a roller coaster, that's for sure.
Yes, it is. Let's first let me get your thoughts. Everyone knows you're a Tiger fan. Certainly Mick Schaefer does.
or Matt Foster last night.
Or Matt Foster. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Matt Foster is aware that you're a Tiger fan. What was your thoughts about how it went down for the Tigers? Par for the course? You disappointed or no? Is it just this is your lot in life?
Only disappointed because I was Charlie Brown falling for Lucy in the football again. I went in saying, take your Tigers one round less than you think. So I was going to take them to lose in the first round in my bracket. And then somehow, you just get caught up in the emotions, and one thing leads to another, and you have Mizzou going out in the Elite Eight. So not a great choice there. But honestly, I'm not disappointed because this team, this is what it was.
Wait a minute, hang on. I can't wait for you to finish your thought and then come back around to this. We've got to address this right now. One thing leads to another, and you have your Tigers going out in the Elite Eight. Like, I think the one thing that led to another would have been like marijuana to alcohol. If you got to Elite Eight, you had the Tigers in the Elite Eight.
Well, okay, you beat Miami. That was possible. Everybody, that was
Sure.
certainly in the ballpark. And then, hey, you get on a run, you just have one good game, you knock off Purdue, everything, that's great. You're in the Sweet 16. And then Gonzaga was a mess. So they're inconsistent. I mean, once again, miracles can happen, but, once again, one thing leads to another. You logic these things out in a way that you can
lost
come
me
up
at
with
logic.
odd scenarios.
You lost me at logic, but you were at least upfront about saying, hey, you kind of get lost in the feelings.
Yeah, it's like, you've probably had it, Soren, where you're in like a fantasy baseball auction, and you're like saying, hey, don't spend more than $2 on this guy, and all of a sudden, you find yourself bidding $25 on this guy trying to get him.
Yeah, I mean, the scenario I'd be is like, okay, you go in going, I'm going to get one of the good third basemen. There's only two good ones. I'm going to get one of the good third basemen. There's only two good ones. And all of a sudden, 6 third basemen are off the board, and you're sitting there looking at it going, I think Luis Salicea is going to have a big year. I'm going to go $6 because, he's got third base eligibility from the handful of games he played last year. Yeah, I like this plan. Mm-hmm. I've got to make sure I get him. He's the last guy on the board, when in reality, you should just punt and be like, I'll pick up anybody later on. I am not going to waste precious dollars here bidding on Luis Salicea to play third base for me. That's a great way to put it. Yes, many a fantasy moment has been like that. Yes.
I've witnessed multiple. What was I thinking?
Kurtis, unfortunately, used to, before the sites would do the auctions for you, we'd pay him to be our auctioneer. And so he wasn't in the league, but he'd watch all the misery and drama that came with doing 2 baseball leagues, back-to-back nights, or like a Friday night, Saturday morning combo. And, he's seen exactly that. So I hear where you're coming from. Are you on the, extend Dennis Gates, don't extend but keep, or let's move on from Dennis Gates? Which one of those ships do you sail on?
Well, they gave him the extension already, right? So he's through 2029, is that correct?
Yeah, but there's some thought that, you might need to give him another one now, or you could lose him.
You know what? I mean, if he wanted to leave, I'd let him leave. I mean, it's I don't think it's been enough of a success that you go ahead and give him another extension at to 2031. I mean, 32. This is the make or break year to me. I mean, he's got 3 more years. It's not like you have to get the extension done just to, before people are going to be recruiting against him, saying, "Hey, he's a dead man walking." No, I mean, I don't think you're there yet. Next year, I mean, this is the year that it should all happen. He's got the great recruiting class apparently coming in on paper. If he wins next year, okay, you're going to have to maybe pay a little bit more to keep him. But it's still just been so inconsistent, and this team looked like a good team. It's just on paper, again, there were things in coaching and execution that just didn't get done. And that game against Miami was a perfect example. I mean, you have a stretch in the first half where you just play uninspired basketball. You get down by double digits. Then these guys rally, they come back, they take a lead, and then lose by 10. I mean, that was wash, rinse, repeat. I mean, that was everything that you saw in the really late in the season, and a lot against almost every big opponent except Florida. I mean, eventually they had these kind of runs. They'd fall behind, they'd catch up, take the lead, then just hit a little away at the end. And this team, I don't know why I expected anything differently.
Yeah, I think it was the alcohol and the drugs personally, but
I wish it was the drugs.
But I would be of the mindset that, look, I think you'd have to guard against his agent, if you're Laird Veach, calling you up and going like, listen, the only way we're keeping this class together is if you give him 2 more years. Like that would be that's the doomsday scenario if they try to leverage this class as the reason why you got to pay him more. I would not give him more. You've had 4 years. This is what Dennis Gates is. And barring him coming to Laird Veach and saying, listen, I'm going to hire this coach and this coach. This is where we're getting better on this, and this is how I'm getting better on that. If he's not coming in with that, then I don't think you're going to see anything different, right? Like, I don't know why, he's going to he's going to have a talented recruiting class come in that is either, one, going to disappoint, and the guys will be there longer than you think, but if they disappointed, or they're going to be there 1 year, and you got to go do it again. And, so like, I'd be like, look, I'm not ready to invest in what you're selling for the future. Like, let me see it next year. I'll pay more next year for, a job well done than I will pay you now. I'd be happier, and I've got a better chance to go to my money guys and get the money to pay you more than what you're going to ask for right now if you do it next year. So bet on yourself, Dennis. And if you're not, then I think you're terrified that you can't get it done either, and you're trying to get the money in the bank now based upon recruiting rankings and not wins. And so if you got to go, you got to go.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, we know what the floor with Dennis Gates is. It's 0-18 and 8-24. I mean, but here's the thing. I mean, guys who win national championships generally don't have an 0-18 on their resume anywhere. So we kind of know the floor. Next year, we're going to find out the ceiling. And if next year's ceiling isn't high, I hate to put expectations on anybody, but he's set it up himself with the class and everything. If this is a group on paper that looks like it is, Sweet 16 is probably a disappointment. I mean, you probably should go to at least the Elite 8 next year. You should be competing for the SEC title. And if you don't, then, I think you've got your question answered. You're not giving him an extension. Maybe you're walking away next year. You're Mizzou. You're in the SEC. You can do that. You can take the bite, and you probably should. But, I'm always going to be nervous because I always say, whenever you change coaches, more likely than not, the next guy is going to be worse than the guy that you have. So I'm going to worry about who Mizzou is going to go out and find. Laird Veach is going to come out and find and drag home next because we don't have a great track record at Mizzou at necessarily bringing home the best coaches.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be an interesting offseason here for the Tigers, and we'll see where they go. And it'll be a very interesting season next year. I think it's a make-or-break year. Not necessarily like, so if he made the tournament and loses in the first round, are you going to fire him? Maybe.
Maybe. If next year was 20-13, the same thing, and you're in the middle of the pack of the SEC, I think that's low enough that you could certainly walk away because I think your expectations at Mizzou should be better than that.
If the reason to believe in him or give him another year is his recruiting class is coming in, they've got to do something special, or else what was the point of waiting for these guys to do something? You can wait for the next recruiting class of high level kids to not matter. To me, the whole point is, I'm just restating my statement there, but to sum it up, the whole point of him staying is this class needs to kick some butt next year.
Yeah, everything to me, except for year 2 with Dennis Gates, this has looked like a coach that knows how to put together a roster. He can recruit kids, he identify talent, all of those things. In 4 seasons, though, I just haven't seen necessarily indication that can convince me that he can coach these guys once he gets them. And, at Cleveland State, same thing. I mean, he probably was just able to out-recruit and bring in more talent than everybody else in his conference. But at Mizzou, hasn't been able to do that yet, at least to coach them up and get them to the next level, and I just haven't seen that.
They have to lead the league in fans who watch the games going, what are they doing? Why is he in?
100%.
Yeah.
What is that?
If it makes you feel any better, I think there was, for the first time in a long time, some Kansas fans got to share in that joy.
Yep.
Watching them play offensive basketball a little bit. So, all right, we'll see what happens there with Mizzou. How about this superfluous little Travis Kelce contract? Let me let people in on a little secret. It's a 1-year, $12 million deal with probably a couple million that he gets after the fact to stretch this thing out in quote-unquote void years to bring the cap number down. But we got to at least address it. For some reason, they're wanting to get excited and talk about it being a $54 million deal. I'm assuming this is because the agent wants it to look that way, but he's not getting $54 million over 3 years from the Chiefs.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's another one of those contracts that everybody wants to be able to take 3 ways. For the team, it is a 1-year, $12 million deal, which I don't think is that bad of a deal. I know you and I both don't necessarily want to keep kicking the can down the curb cap-wise, but they did do that on this deal, which they don't normally do with void years, but it's going to happen this time. The agent gets to say, "Oh yeah, hey, it's a $54.75 or almost $58 million deal if you get some bonuses in there, and then hey, here tight ends around the league, you're going to be throwing this into the formula for the tight end position for the franchise tag, and it's going to raise the bar a little bit." So I guess everybody wins to a degree, but yeah, I mean, there's that $40 million poison pill, as they call it, next June that allows the Chiefs to do any number of things. I mean, they could take it as a pre-June 1 cut. They can take it as a post-June 1. That certainly seems to be the indication right now, is that they'd spread that cap hit over 27 and 28 as well. But this is set up for pretty much Travis to either retire or the Chiefs cut him. And that's not going to happen. I mean, Chiefs aren't going to cut Travis Kelce. That's not what happens with Hall of Famers like this. So I'm assuming that he's indicated to the Chiefs that, hey, this is going to probably be the last rodeo, so let's structure it that way. We'll see, but you don't want to be in a scenario where you're ending Travis Kelce's career by cutting him. So that's why to me it's either there's going to be an extension or a retirement, and I think a retirement's a whole lot more likely. But you're right, it's just cap shenanigans to kind of dress up a 1-year, $12 million deal.
You don't want to have to cut Travis Kelce, but why should the team be responsible for making sure that doesn't happen?
You can't. I mean, at the end of the day, it's up to the team to eventually say sometimes to their star player, their GOAT, their Hall of Famer, and say, it's over. You're done. But Chiefs, I mean, they're not in a position to say that right now because they don't have anybody to take over. I mean, he's still their best tight end, and by a considerable margin. So if they want to try and improve on 6 and 11, which all indications are that they want to, you need Travis Kelce to do that. And I think that, the prospects for Travis Kelce should be better in 2026 with the addition of Kenneth Walker. But, I mean, there's no guarantees. I mean, it could go south on them again. But right now, I mean, the difference between Travis Kelce and any of the other tight ends they have on the roster is enormous.
I mean, wouldn't they be better with Travis Kelce and with Travis Kelce making less money?
They would, and I mean, from a cap standpoint, he's making just about as little as he can. But you're right. I mean, there's going to be that you've got $7 million in dead cap that you're going to have after this season to deal with, and it's not insignificant. I mean, that is a sizable number.
Yeah, I mean that's my point about, like, why is it the team's obligation to make sure that he retires as Chief? I think it's got to be a two-way street, and this feels to me like the Chiefs bending over, reaching way further across the aisle to make this happen than Travis Kelce is.
I mean, yes, I see where you're going with it and everything, and where you're coming from. Here's the thing. I think if Travis wanted to, I think he could have gotten a whole lot more than this. I think he probably could have gotten 15 guaranteed, and probably bonuses on top of that. So,
do you think he's a $15 million player?
Not necessarily, but considering that what the options that the Chiefs have, I think they would have probably just about had to pay Travis Kelce anything. Now, that said, I would say that I think Travis is more like a $8 to $10 million player right now. But, I mean, dude had 851 yards last year receiving, and for a bad offense that had really nothing going on outside of him. So,
well, again, a couple of things there. I fundamentally object to they have to. Like, those words should never exist. You do not have to. You may take a PR hit, right? It may suck to see Taylor Swift wearing an Eagles jersey or whatever it is, and you lose that, but they do not have to. So let me be clear. If he plays and catches 500 yards while being healthy, and he comes in fat and out of shape because he doesn't really care, and this team is 6-11, like they had to? No, they didn't. They did not have to. Okay, so they've chosen to do that. Let's be clear. I think that's an important distinction to make. And they sucked with him. I mean, like, he is part of what added up to 6-11, right? I mean, that's like if Travis Kelce was brilliant, then whose fault was it?
I mean, I'll tell you that
was it all Jawan Taylor? Every problem was Jawan Taylor?
No, it definitely wasn't Jawan Taylor. I mean, there were about 18 things at least that went wrong last season. Hey, chances are you're not going to get all 18 of those things fixed, but you get enough of them fixed, you're not going to go 6-11 again this year. And I certainly don't think that Travis Kelce was the predominant reason anywhere close to it about why they went 6-11. They might have lost a couple of games because of some bad drops at bad moments. And I've certainly been the advocate that I think that Travis still plays too many snaps at this point in his career. He needs to be admitting that he needs to lighten his workload, and the team needs to lighten his workload a little bit more. But when I say that the Chiefs have to, I mean they've made the decision that they want to try and win in 2026. They want to be a playoff team. They're not tanking. They're not trying to just say this is a complete rebuilding year. They're trying to win football games, and Travis Kelce gives them a better chance to win football games than any other option. I mean, there was no other tight end you're going to bring in here that's going to be better than Travis Kelce right now. That player's not available. I mean, unless you just absolutely overpay with a trade, and I'm not sure that there's anybody that's willing to trade a tight end that they have that's better than Travis Kelce. So,
well, is it possible that without Kelce, no longer is a 36-year-old tight end the focal point of your offense? You're forced to do something different. You're forced to throw the ball down the field. You're forced to run patterns, trying to get the football to players that are faster, more agile. That part of this is like Trav's here. We got to get Trav his. So let's make sure that everything. I'm in trouble. I'll check down to Trav. How about send it down the field?
Well, I mean, if you don't have Travis there, then I don't know that with last year's team, that option still isn't really there because, I mean, there was nobody open last year as it was, with a lot of teams still giving more attention to Travis than they were any other player. And now if you just put out Noah Gray out there 75% of the time instead of Travis, I mean, they're not going to double Noah Gray. They're probably going to double Worthy or Rice or somebody else that's out there. And I'm just not sure that I see it opening up the offense anymore. I mean, the addition of Walker.
But Kelce was out there, and they weren't doubling him. Like, he wasn't that's kind of speaking to your point, isn't it? The fact that nobody else emerged meant that he wasn't some big, massive threat to where they were letting wide receivers run wide open because, oh my God, Kelce's 5 yards across the line of scrimmage staring at Patrick Mahomes waiting for a dunk.
There were still, I mean, I'll be honest, Ren, I don't remember a time last year Maybe there was one or two plays by Tyquan Thornton, but even then I think that, Tyquan made some plays was just when he was covered. But I don't remember ever saying last year any time, how does Rashee Rice get that wide open? Or how does Xavier Worthy or Tyquan? There are still plenty of times that you say that about Travis Kelce. Just like, how in the world does he get that open? How does he just, if he gets single coverage on a linebacker, he's still a nightmare. I mean, you still got to shade protection to him, even if you're not just traditionally double teaming him. You're still bracketing him in some way. And with last year's run game and the fact that teams were not putting 7 men in the box, sometimes they weren't even putting 6. I mean, there was nowhere for Mahomes to throw the football sometimes, unless Travis beat somebody, because nobody else was beating anybody.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen. Like I said, I think he's gone from being one of the best slot wide receivers in football to being a good tight end, and I think this is a too pricey a deal. Like, I'm not. I'd take the PR hit and be looking to spend that money elsewhere. Over the next couple of years, and I get his value business wise, but they were 6-11 with him, and the idea is that now they're going to be more of a run team, and he is. How would you describe his blocking? Push and pester.
I think better than he gets credit for, but it's not his bag, as some of the kids might say.
For sure.
Do they have to win a Super Bowl?
Not his jam.
Do they have to win a Super Bowl for this deal to be a success?
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Glad you said it before I did.
Awkward.
No. Kenneth Walker is the only deal on this team this year that I will say that about.
I'm not even going to,
please don't.
I would attack that wall with fire and an army if we hadn't already done it. So no, only Kenneth Walker. Right.
Kenneth Walker is the only player that is held to that standard this year, and that is the only reason that he's brought in.
Okay. So then, in your mind, this is somewhat of a thank you for what he's done in the past.
I don't think it entirely, but and I don't think that the Chiefs. I don't think that personally. I know some will disagree. You might disagree. I don't think at any point Clark Hunt or Mark Donovan ever goes to Andy Reid or Brett Veach and says, hey, we need you to do this or sign this guy or whatever it is to help us sell tickets or to help us make more money overseas or anything like that. But, I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, Travis Kelce is the most arguably the most recognized player in the NFL around the world, more so than anybody else right now. So is that inconsiderable? Do I think that the Chiefs are taking that into consideration when they choose to bring him back? No. Do they make that consideration to maybe give him an extra $1 million because of it? Maybe. But I'm not convinced of that. I still think that if they want to make the playoffs next year, I don't think they're doing it without Travis Kelce. I mean, they still need him. Even if he's not the same guy that he was 4 years ago, they haven't replaced him. They haven't drafted the next guy to take his place. They haven't found that guy. They haven't signed him. There is a gaping hole on that roster. So, and that's the reality of free agency. I mean, Travis was technically a free agent. That was the first time in his career he's been a free agent. He's a free agent, I guess, for about 3 hours, even though it took him 2 weeks to sign the contract. You're going to overpay in those situations, and because they had no other option. I mean, to a degree. So, if you want to try and make the playoffs, the best guy that you could have at tight end for the Chiefs was Travis Kelce.
What needs to be their next move in free agency?
I mean, I still think that they could use a veteran wide receiver. I mean, right now their veteran wide receiver in the room is Tyquan Thornton. And I'm not saying I necessarily think it needs to be Juju Smith-Schuster, because I think they would like to have a guy with a little bit more juice. Not necessarily sold that guy is out there, but I think that they could use another player of note at that position in corner. I mean, I think that you can't. I mean, even if you draft honestly a corner or two, I still think you could use a veteran corner, because again, your veteran corner in that room right now is
Christian
for the
Fulton.
Corners, it's Christian Fulton, and for the entire defense, it might be Alohi Gilman. So I think you could still use a guy. I mean, there's some players out there that some notable names that, hey, maybe they'd be willing to take a one-year prove-it deal. Maybe a Trayvon Diggs would be willing to do that. I don't know. I don't know if he would fit in Kansas City or not, or that's even their style. But there's some players like that are still out there in the market, and maybe you need to wait until May 5th to see what's out there so that you aren't triggering, and that's what a lot of teams are. They don't want to sign anybody that's going to affect the compensation formula. So maybe they've got some time until after the draft to do that. But those are the two places for sure. I mean, I still think that they probably need at least 3 or 4 new faces on the defensive line, and that'd be another place unless you're once again you're planning on drafting 3 or 4 defensive linemen.
What do you got, a dream draft scenario that you've formulated here of late?
I mean, one scenario that I would not be surprised at is that if the Chiefs went double defensive line in the first round. I mean, those are 2 premium positions, and hey, if Ruben Bain falls to you at 9, and then one of the top defensive tackles is available to you at 29, you don't have to move around much. I think that'd be a great scenario. Even if it's a right tackle that falls to you at 29, I think that would be a nice scenario. I could even see the Chiefs, moving back from 9 if there's a few guys there that they like, just to be able to get more draft picks. Then honestly, you could move back from 9 and move up from 29, end up with maybe the 2 guys that you want anyway, and pick up more draft capital. That to me would be the dream scenario.
Yeah, it is. We're getting close. I mean, it's not as far away. Does it feel? What are we, about a month away from round 1?
I think, like a month from this week. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 4 weeks from Thursday.
Thursday, yeah.
Correct. So we're not that far from it being a reality. That's for sure. Matt, great stuff as always. We appreciate it. You seem to be taking the Tiger loss well.
I'm used to it, so I'm okay.
Yeah. So sorry about your bracket.
That's much more sad. I'm like, I don't follow college basketball enough to be smart, but I'm like
No.
34th percentile, so that's just embarrassing.
Well, no, it's not. It's actually where all the smart people end up. 34th percentile.
If you win a bracket, you probably don't know much about basketball.
There it is. That's what I say every year, except for the year I win it.
Yes.
Then I figured it out. So
crack the code.
That's the key. Matt, you're the man. We appreciate it. We'll talk next week.
Sounds great, Soren. Take care, my friends.
The program with Soren Petro.
That is trash!
Weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Listen, we've got basketball going on all the time right now. Maybe facing a little withdrawal with the tournament not happening tonight. Get in on all the NBA action. Fast breaks, buzzer beaters, three-pointers, big blocks. They're all right there. An Underdog can take you right into the middle of the action. Make entries. Win money right now in Missouri. Get your entries right. You can win up to 5,000 times your cash. Listen, it's super easy. Pick your favorite player. Determine whether they'll go higher or lower on stats like points, rebounds, steals. Bam Adebayo. He had that 83-point game. I think that's happening very often. I think I'll go lower on the 20.5 points he has against the Spurs tonight. Victor Wembanyama, tough cookie to crack. How about Luka Doncic? He's on a heater of late, higher than the 32.5. It's just that easy. Just pick your player, pick your stat, go higher or lower. On the NBA, on college basketball, the NCAA tournament, it's all right there on the Underdog app. Don't have the app? Well, download it right now. Download the app and use that promo code SOREN, S-O-R-E-N, and score $50 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. Again, that's promo code SOREN, S-O-R-E-N. That's going to allow you to score $50 in bonus entries right now when you download the app. But you got to have the app to play, so get it right now. Use the promo code SOREN, S-O-R-E-N, and score $50 in bonus entries right now at Underdog. Make plays, win money.
Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/plain get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-MY-RESET or visit www.ncpggambling.org.
Paid for client portrayal and endorsed. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
After my car wreck, there was a lot I didn't know.
I do know. If you've been hurt in a car wreck, call me. I've got this.
Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
It's the Championship of Flowers. Strain Madness is happening now at all Kansas City Greenlight locations. Buy your favorite strain, back your brand, and let's crown Missouri's best. The best cannabis deals always at greenlightdispensary.com.
For 125 years, Bison State Bank has been part of your community. We've been banking longer than sliced bread and even traffic in KC. But don't let our age fool you. We're still fast, modern, and working for your money. Check out our Bison Money Market with a 4.12% APY to park your cash while it actually works for you. And mortgage rates are back in the 5s, which means now is a perfect time to buy a home or refinance the one you've got. Grow your savings or lower your payment. Bison State Bank has you covered, just like we have for 125 years. BisonStateBank.com. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Hey, Soren, Petro here. Don't call one of those 800 numbers you see on TV to replace or convert your tub or shower. Let your local plumber handle it. The one to know, the Plumbing Pro. They've been serving KC since 1980. They live here, work here, coach here, raise their families here. Plus, right now, ask for the Petro deal and get $2,000 off a new tub or shower replacement. Plumbing's taken for granted until it doesn't work. When you can't flush, shower, or do a load of laundry, trust me, it gets serious fast. That's when I call the Plumbing Pro. Plumbing problems solved. And don't spend your Saturday making 3 trips to the hardware store. You've got tea times and kids' games. Let the Plumbing Pro get it done. They handle complete plumbing service, sewer, septic, drain installation, and repair. The guys at the Plumbing Pro really dig their work. You need underground sewer or water lines replaced? They use low-impact pipe bursting to help save your landscape, driveways, and sidewalks. Other plumbers with their names on the door have sold out and moved on. But Coach Bush is still right here, answering questions and helping KC homeowners. When you really need a plumber, call 816-763-8200 or go to theplumbingpro.com. Remember, the one to know is theplumbingpro.com.
It's called the Plumbing Pro.
Hey, I'm Brian Sight.
And I'm Zachary Sight. At the Bobside Auto Group, relationships come first, and that's guided how we do business for generations.
This March, our family is proud to continue more than 100 years of serving Kansas City and Lawrence, earning trust one customer at a time.
From Bobside Ford to Kia, Honda, and Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, we've grown with our communities while staying true to the values we started with: honesty, transparency, and respect.
And right now, it's Truck Month at Bobside Ford and Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, with 0% financing on F-150s and Ram 1500s.
At Bobside Honda, you'll also find great deals on new Hondas and a strong selection of cars and SUVs our customers rely on every day.
Plus, at Bobside Kia, every new Kia comes with lifetime oil changes and tire rotations. Real value that saves you money for as long as you own your vehicle.
Whether you're buying your first vehicle or trading up to a new truck or SUV, we focus on a smooth process with no pressure and no surprises.
4 convenient locations, 7 trusted brands, and a huge selection of new and pre-owned vehicles. The Bobside Auto Group.
Trust is our tradition.
You're always better with a roof from JR.
Here they come. A baseball-sized hailstorm means every roofer for 500 miles is on his way here to ring your door.
All right, the La Feta delicatessen and of the hour answer.
Quick timeout. You guys were there Friday. How great were the La Feta sandwich platters?
So good. And everyone who was there was like, oh, dude. Like, there were a handful of people there who had not tasted it before. Yeah. Every single person, no matter which one of the ones they grabbed, oh, my gosh. Oh, wow, this is really good.
I was going to add that. I didn't care which sandwich I got. I just wanted,
Yeah.
I wanted something.
It was amazing because we had a lot of folks. One of our buddies lives down in Clinton, and so he'd never had it, and he was like, "Oh my god!" They put together 2 great sandwich platters for us for Friday. Absolutely fantastic. I will give you one nugget because there were a couple left over.
Mm-hmm.
I think they might be better the next day.
Oh, yeah.
When the bread soaks up all the different stuff, maybe they're not, but I had no problem having it for lunch the next day. It was delish. So thank you to our friends at LafettaDeli.com. They of course, they were closed for a little bit for spring break, but they're open.
Yep.
And get over there, 143rd and Metcalf on the southeast corner. Now, you were saying.
Before Iowa, what was the last team to shoot 70% from inside the arc against a 1 seed?
Ooh.
It's happened 4 times since they expanded the tournament in 85.
I mean, my first reaction would be is like a 1 against a 1. Like, you got a great team. Okay. So we get to the Final Four, and we get a 1 against a 1. And so is it like Kansas against North Carolina when they blew up the Tar Heels en route to the 08 championship?
You got half the teams right.
Kansas did it, or Carolina had it happen to them?
Kansas had it happen to them.
Ooh, Villanova.
Villanova in 2018.
Yeah.
They shot 72% from inside of 2.
God, it felt like all they did was shoot threes in that game.
They hit everything in that game. St. Joe's was 73.5 against Stanford in 2001. They lost that game.
Were they 18 of 25 inside the arc?
Might have been.
I'm just thinking, like you said, 72% even?
For Villanova, yeah. 72 on the nose.
I'll bet you they were
had to been
18 to 25.
Had to be.
I mean, it had to be it.
And then the greatest shooting night ever, and the most important shooting night ever, pre-3-point era, Villanova, 78.6 against Georgetown in 85 in the championship game. 22 of 26.
Well, there was
27.
no. It should be pointed out there was no threes then. So everything was inside the arc.
Yeah, I just said that.
I'm underscoring it. I'm saying.
I was like, I'm pretty sure I said that.
Yeah.
I remember there were 22 of 27 and 22 of 28. Let me see which one's which.
I think they were better from the field than they were the free throw line, weren't they?
22 of 27 from the field.
And 22 of 28 from the free throw line?
From the free throw line,
yeah.
70. And they won.
That's what it took for Villanova.
1 by 2.
The 9 seed or 8 seed? 8 seed. Are they still the lowest seed to win the championship?
Yes.
Okay. So Iowa.
There's been a 7 and a
Texas.
6.
Come on down.
Yeah.
You two are still eligible.
Notice that this is the. I saw this earlier. Just look at the total seed number. 60. Total seed number last year was 45. The year before that it was 53. So
this is a little.
Yeah, even though it's power conferences, you've got an 11 and a 9 and a. Whereas I think last year there was only one that was worse than a 6. So it's power conference, but you're still getting, with Texas and Iowa have kind of changed that. Pretty much, there's some heavies.
I did like as soon as Texas won, immediately everybody took to Twitter and said, Texas is not Cinderella.
No.
They may have the seed for it, but you cannot be the University of Texas and be where we're saying, okay, this is where it's at.
Some games to certainly look for, and there's 3 or 4 really good ones. I mean, Illinois, Houston's going to be like, who gets to do what? I feel really good about my Illinois thing, but Houston looks like a house. In Nebraska and Iowa, I think it said it was the first time, just the 5th time or 6th time ever that they've had a conference matchups in the Sweet 16. It's never happened with the Big 12 teams. Some compelling stuff. Arizona, Arkansas. Arizona's an 8.5-point favorite. Does that seem high? They really love Arizona because Arkansas has not been terrible in this tournament, but they got one of the largest. There's a second largest spread of the weekend. The other one's Michigan's 10.5 over Alabama. I say Alabama did what they did last night, like we're 10.5. But
well, where was this? I mean, I know Texas Tech is down their best player, but I mean, that was a bomb that they let off in that game.
They hit.
Where's been that play?
Everything.
Maybe it's because they've been screwing around with a player that's eligible, not eligible, and now they finally are coming together and being all that they can be. But
yeah, they were hitting everything last night, all night. It's very, very compelling. This is, as much as I love the overwhelming nature of that first weekend. There's just so many games and so many results. We talked about that a little bit on Friday. 36 hours. There are 32 decisions, and then there's 16 more over the next 2 days. But for just sheer quality of games, the Thursday and Friday of the Sweet 16 to me is almost unparalleled.
Yeah,
you just you go home, you sit back, and you just watch really good basketball.
Yeah,
for 5 hours. Can't wait.
Are you getting paid for that advertisement there? Or?
No.
Okay.
But I am paid to speak the truth. As much as it may rankle some of my Missouri Tiger fans.
All right. How about Gates? Is this the truth? It's 7, right, where he makes his proclamation?
Let me see. I think that's it. I'm going to look at the sheet here.
Yeah, because it's the only Gates kind of got.
One. Yeah, so yes.
So, okay, I want to make sure. We were going to get to this in hour 1. We didn't. I want to get to it right now. This is Dennis Gates. I want to ask how to remember the year.
How I will remember this season. I'm pretty difficult on myself. I'm hard on myself when it comes down to coaching. I don't think any coach could have brought the team to this place based off of where we were dealing with the injuries that we dealt with. So I pat myself on the back at the same time, but there was still sort of a goal in mind. I want to win a national championship, and I didn't. So for me, that's a fail. It's just that simple.
I'm going to play the beginning again.
Please.
How I will remember this season. I'm pretty difficult on myself. I'm hard on myself when it comes down to coaching. I don't think any coach could have brought the team to this place based off of where we were dealing with the injuries that we dealt with.
Okay. I mean, like are you saying, if part of that is like, Mike Krzyzewski would have had us as a 4 seed. So we wouldn't have been in this place. We'd have been a different. Okay. But I don't think that's how that was meant.
No. Bill Self couldn't have done what he did this year. No way. John Calipari, not a shot.
I mean, he opened with, I'm hard on myself.
And then he put himself above every coach.
And then he gave you the coach
basketball.
speak, so it's a failure because we didn't win the national championship, because that's what it's all about. Like,
no.
I mean,
you ain't won in the second round, my man.
You're the Tiger fan. I mean, what's your reaction to that? Hearing your coach say that?
My first reaction was laughter. I was glad that I wasn't, drinking something, or it would have gone through my nose. And then it's just the absurdity. One of the things I tend to not like is the combination of someone saying something incredibly arrogant while claiming to be very humble. I'm not going to see, I'm really hard, but no one could have done what I did. What? You can't. Those things, you can't go from one to the other in a 5-second span or whatever how long that was. It's just absurd. And he hung way too much on the notion that, well, we didn't really have our team together until the conference season began. Yeah, that was 2 months ago.
Gonzaga lost its second leading scorer, coming down the stretch. Duke has had guys in and out of the lineup. They've had all kinds of guys going in and out of the lineup. I mean, Iowa State has played basically 2 games and blew out their opponent yesterday without their best player.
Yes. And in the last 2 games, I looked this up. There's a separate stat for this as well, going back to the NCAA tournament. Just the last 2 games this year, Miami and Kentucky, they led for a total of 1 minute and 59 seconds. and a total of 43 seconds in the second half of the last two games they played this year. I don't care how long you had to get your team together. You could do better than that.
Yeah,
40 or 80 minutes of basketball, and they led for less than 2 minutes.
We'll take a break, but that comment is staggering to hear coming from Dennis Gates.
Doesn't help the idea that he's the next guy.
What was these? Who was it that said every that's the Chili Peppers, isn't it?
Yeah.
Every song is how
there was a guy named Nick Cave. He says, I'm constantly walking down the street hearing this awful music coming from a window, and every time it's the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Which I love.
Damn.
It's harsh, but fair. There's a guy on TikTok. He just says how to do a Red Hot Chili Pepper song in 30 seconds, and he just goes, first you do some percussive guitar, and then a slap of the bass, and a simple drum beat, and then you just scat anything. Yeah, shooba dooba dum, shama lama lama ding dong, blah blah shaba dooba dooba dooba. And you put it all together, you're like, that. There it is.
I don't disagree.
That's a Chili Pepper song, exactly.
But if you like that,
yeah,
then you like the Chili Peppers.
Every song sounds like Give It Away. Every song is that to me. Which, I mean, I hear it and I go, yeah, I'm sure there's a large group of people who love it.
Their bank account is giving you the old number one.
Yeah, they've sold enough records. They don't have to.
They don't have to
explain themselves to me.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that they shouldn't be a success. It's just not my bag. To quote Matt Derrick,
who was quoting the kids today,
and who was also maybe quoting Austin Powers. It's not my bag, baby.
Is that where that came from?
It might have been. There was a reference to it.
Okay.
When he's going through security and he has some stuff. It's not even my bag, baby. Well, here's this book, so-and-so's. It is my bag, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. All right. We got a little behind there. We'll get caught up here. We'll come back. We'll get the 2-minute drill. We'll talk to people around the country, get some tournament reaction from around the country, and Gabe DeArmond from Power Mizzou all coming up next hour here in the program.
All right, how many head coaches have taken 4 different programs to the Sweet 16? Brought to you by La Feta Delicatessen.
Second half of the program begins right now. We're going around the country 2 minutes at a time, talking to the people covering the stories where they're happening. It's brought to you by our friends at Joslin's Jewelry. Gary Joslin and his staff voted the #1 jewelry store in Kansas City. There's a reason for that. Excellent customer service. Not going to find a more knowledgeable, friendlier staff than you will find at Joslin's Jewelry. The best jewelry, scintillating diamonds. The only thing that are good enough for Gary. Voted the #1 jewelry store in Kansas City for a reason. Go see him today, whether it's that engagement ring, almost 1,000 to choose from, or maybe it's a birthday present. They've got the birthstone pieces, hundreds to choose from in every birthstone. Your hometown jeweler is Joslin's Jeweler, the gold standard in fine jewelry, right there on the corner of 95th and Antioch, southeast corner to be precise. Go see him today. Tell him the program sent you. Let's get things started on the drill. We begin in Fayetteville, Arkansas. JB Bertuccini, 92.1 The Ticket is up first. JB, how are you?
I'm great, brother. Good to hear from you, Soren. How are you?
Doing very good. Maybe not as good as the Razorbacks. They are rolling along, or are they? Is this about who they've beaten to this point? What do we think of the run they've put together so far?
I think that's a fair context to put around it, right? Back-to-back dubs, an impressive win, certainly, with a 20-point win against Hawaii in round 1 in a 4-13 matchup, and then you get your money's worth against High Point in the round of 32. That was a nip-and-tuck game. It wasn't a cruise control victory, but the Hogs still in control throughout the game and won it by 6, 94-88. Well, we talked about this on your show last month, Soren, the last time I was on. One-on-one, there's nobody in the country who can guard Darius Acuff. He's just too fast, and his jump shot continues to get better and better. So, led by him, his draft stock rising, right? When we talked last time, some folks had him fringe lottery pick. Now everybody's hot take is Darius Acuff top 5, top 4, top 3. You can take him #1 and not even blink about it. That's how good this guy is. I see the Derrick Rose, the Allen Iverson vibes. But I also see some team basketball. He has a little bit of a spread it around kind of vibe to his game, too. You think about some other guys that Cal has had in the past who have become all-around creative players. I'm thinking of Maxey right now with the Sixers, obviously SCA with the Thunder. He's become a little more dynamic, and that's allowed Brazile and Thomas and crew to rise up around him. So Arkansas hot, you're right. They've only played a 13 seed and a 12 seed, but we're going to find out on Thursday night where things really stand, because Arizona looks as good as anybody right now, and facing them 8:45 Thursday night in San Jose Central Time. That should be a great basketball game to watch.
Yeah, we're definitely looking forward to it. And you mentioned Acuff and where he sits. I mean, I don't think he should go. I mean, I'd like #2 for where he should probably go right now, and I wouldn't argue if somebody did take him #1 since he plays with the ball in his hands. What was the expectation? They knew they were getting a really good player, but what did they think they were getting? Did they think they were getting a guy that would be talked about in the top 5, or did they think was he definitively a one and done? What was the expectation coming in?
These are great contextual questions, Soren, and I love them because they're making me think a little bit too. No, I would answer truthfully, having covered him all year now and going back, to when he first arrived on campus back in end of June, early July. There was a lot of excitement, but there was a sense that he and Malik Thomas were really a 1-2 combo, which, let's be honest, they've kind of been as Thomas has grown in confidence throughout the year. He's a great second option, certainly, to Darius Acuff. But as far as, singular comparisons, no, the way Acuff is able to take over basketball games with a dribble drive, with a jump shot, with the court vision, averaging 6 assists per game, but most of those assists lead directly to dunks or layups. So he's always attacking the basket. He's always a plus, 15, 20 defensively, because he's going to try his guts out on that end too. So to answer your question, I think he's far surpassed what they thought they were getting. They thought they were getting a one-and-done first-round pick in the vintage form of so many Cal products, but now he's rising up that list. And depending on how far Arkansas goes, he's going to keep rising even higher, Soren.
Yeah, he's got a great chance. If he can take down Arizona, that's going to skyrocket him even more. Where is Calipari on the popularity scale right now? Is he delivering on everything they wanted, or is he the most popular guy there on the Arkansas campus?
Sure feels like it right now. Back-to-back Sweet 16s in his first 2 years here, so it's not like he hasn't delivered on the hype coming in, although I guess anything other than a national championship in Cal is suffering through a disappointing season as far as some of his skeptics. But no, he's he's embraced it a lot more, I think, in year 2 than year 1. I think the run they went on, Soren, at the end of the first year, really got him personally to buy in a little more, because you saw right after that with some of the summer camps and appearances around the state, he went on kind of like a bandwagon speaking tour all across the state. And I think folks have come around. They feel like he's their guy now. This is their second deep run with him. He's given them some great players, and he's certainly coaching this team with a lot of confidence right now. Now, they have no depth whatsoever, so they play like 6 guys tops, and they're going to get in a spot here really quick against Arizona where that's going to be a big problem. So watch for that in this game. But Cal's got some magic, 900-plus wins for a reason. I think they got a chance on Thursday. And if they win that one, oh, yeah, Cal will be people's public favorite number 1 for sure.
Did I hear this right? They had some event where, like, all the coaches were out, handing out treats or doing something with all the students on campus where you could come by and get whatever the coaches, and he was out there. Like, you'd think he might have been like, oh, everyone's here but Coach Cal, but he was out there mingling with the students and everything.
Oh, yeah, he still enjoys that stuff. He still gets out. He'll hand out cheeseburgers before a big game. He loves it when the students are all lined up. He's even jokingly talked about, I'd love to teach some big, big one-on-one coaching class. He's like, oh, wait, but then I'd have to show up a couple times a week, so that's not going to work. So there you go.
All right, Arizona minus 8.5. Do they have it right?
I think Arkansas covers. I don't know if I could pick them to outright win, but I'll be rooting for it. But I think Arkansas covers.
All right, JB, great stuff as always, buddy. We appreciate it. Enjoy the games. We'll talk to you again soon.
Soon, Soren. Draft coming up. Go Chiefs, baby.
Colby Gordon, Austin American Statesman in Austin, Texas, is next. Colby, how are you, sir?
Doing well. How are things up there?
Not as well as they are in Austin. I mean, KU, Missouri, bye-bye. K-State, firing coaches and, court hearings and whatnot about contracts. That's what we got going on. Not the Cinderella story that is that little engine that could, Texas basketball. How impressive is it that this, unheard of program with nothing behind it is able to battle its way into the Sweet 16.
Yeah, point taken, definitely, and I agree. I think, I think you can make the argument that Texas basketball historically has just underachieved, and I also think, at least from my perspective, you can make the argument that they also underachieved in the regular season this year. Now, also, you have to give them credit for what they did in a, 5-day span last week. They won 3 games against 3 good opponents, and Sean Miller can coach, which we've known for quite a long time. But I mean, again, I think they underachieved in the regular season, but they're playing well when it matters most.
Do they like his coaching, or because I think people in Arizona would say, well, he can put together a good team, but I don't know if he can coach them. They like the X's and O's for what he's putting together in this run and beating BYU and Gonzaga?
Well, Texas basketball fans generally don't really start paying attention to hoops until about mid-February. And that's when things started to go south a bit. They had won 5 in a row, and then they ended the year losing 5 of 6, and were pretty much the last team in the tournament, according to several people. I think Texas fans, even before this run, were fine with what Miller had done. There was no angst or anything, but I mean, he's 9-1 in the round of 32 in his career. To your point, I don't think he blew anybody away with his X's and O's this year, but he's getting the job done, and in a place where basketball is the number 3 sport, even behind college baseball. I mean, the fans are completely fine with what he's doing.
Yeah, and where is it going? I'm not going to get ahead of myself. I'll come back to the game. But what are the returns on what he's got coming in? He's known as a great recruiter. Is there a nice recruiting class already locked and loaded? And how did he do as far as the transfer portal first go round?
Yeah, well, he built a roster, as is with everyone in college hoops today. I mean, this roster is, Dalen Swain, from Xavier, the big man. Their 7-footer in the middle from Florida Atlantic. Tremont Mark's been here, but Jordan Pope has been playing really well the last couple of games, from Oregon State. So, I mean, he built a good roster this season, and I think if you're going to criticize him, it's for it just never gelled during the regular season because, I mean, they were so up and down you just didn't know what you were going to get with them on a night-to-night basis. They were really similar to Missouri in that regard. And that I think the best example of that is that they lost at home to Mississippi State and then beat Alabama on the road in a 7-day span. So he's recruiting-wise, is in terms coming in next year, there's not a lot of solid commitments yet, but I mean he'll get to work once the season ends. I would expect another decent haul in the transfer portal because they're going to have to replace a lot.
Yeah, I mean, which is, like I said, everybody has got to do. He was known as a great recruiter. I'm sure he will do fine there in Texas. We'll see if he makes a long run. It buys him a long leash here with the Horns. We heard some rumblings that Steve Sarkisian could be entertaining offers from the NFL. That didn't come to fruition. One, was that accurate? Two, do you think that that's what his end game is?
I don't think that was accurate, just because sometimes you're on the local level, you're maybe too close to things. But everything that we've heard down here was that was not accurate. The people reporting that were not from Austin, and I really don't think he has NFL aspirations. Now, look, we could come back a year from now and I could look like a total fool, but he is paid $11 million a year. He has complete control of everything. He has essentially an unlimited budget to pay players, and I'm not sure what situation that's going to open up in the NFL that he would find more attractive from a control standpoint and maybe even a monetary standpoint than what he has here.
Yeah, no, it's a good situation. I mean, but the expectations are high, right? Like they won a national championship. If he's not getting into the playoffs and going deep, they're going to turn on him pretty quick, right?
Yeah, no question. I mean, if he doesn't make the playoff in the fall, that there will be a lot of grumblings. I mean, he's at the point. I mean, here it's basically playoff or bust. Where, I mean, the expectation for that he needs to be in the playoffs every single year, and especially if or when they expand it to 16, then it'll be even more so. But yes, no, if he doesn't make the playoffs this fall, there's going to be a lot of grumbling.
Yeah. All right. We'll see what ends up happening. Colby Gordon in Austin, Texas. Great stuff, buddy. We appreciate it. Have yourself a fantastic week.
Okay. Glad to be with you guys. Have a good week up there.
To the arms of Florida.
This is where we find Ryan Green, 1010XL in Jacksonville, Florida. Ryan, how are you?
Soren, I'm good, buddy. How you doing?
Doing pretty good. How much of a shock to the system was it that the Gators, who had been maybe college basketball's hottest team coming into this tournament, fall to the 9th-seeded Iowa Hawkeyes?
Well, I think it was anywhere between a Gordon Soley shot to the solar plexus and getting kicked below the belt by a mule. Was kind of how I would describe it last night for Gator Nation. Devastation, I think, would be another way to describe it. Look, I thought they were going to lose to Houston in the Elite Eight. Soren, I hated the draw to have to play Houston in Houston with the motivating factor that Houston had from losing the title game last year. So I thought they were going to lose next weekend, but to not even make it out of the opening weekend was certainly a shock here locally.
Yeah, I just like, to me, there was a feeling that, maybe there was a toughness issue with this Gators team. At least that was one of the things that Ben McCollum talked about. We saw him and Todd Golden get after it. What went wrong for the Gators in your mind?
Well, I mean, they were trying to replace 4 guards, 3 of which are in the NBA right now, which that's never easy to do. The front court was good. It wasn't good yesterday, which is why they lost. And they brought a couple of guys in from the portal that were good, Soren, but with the money they were paying them, and Boogie Flan and Xavier Lee, they should have been better than good, and I don't think they were. So I think they were let down a little bit by some of their portal acquisitions, but at the end of the day, I mean, there's a reason that only 9 teams, I believe it's 9, have repeated as national champions since the NCAA tournament started some 86 years ago. It's just hard to do. Again, if they would have gotten knocked out in the Sweet 16 or the Elite 8, it would have been a better feeling around here. The round of 32 is a little leaves a bad taste in the mouth, but this team just wasn't as good as the team was last year. Last year, they could shoot their way out of deficits. They did not have that luxury this season.
You know, I suppose it's entirely possible it's just jealousy because the program is winning, but I've had a couple people be like, that Golden, I don't really like him. Don't like his attitude, don't like the way he acts there on the sideline. I mean, look, he won a national championship. I know he's popular, but do some of the antics maybe frustrate some people there in Gainesville?
It's one of the classic things where if he's your coach, you love him, and if he's not your coach, you can't stand him, and that's how Todd Golden is. I mean, he's absolutely beloved here in the Northeast Florida area, Jacksonville, Gainesville, the surrounding area. Yeah, people love him. Does he get a little fired up on the sideline? Does he do some things that maybe you shouldn't do? Yeah, perhaps, but I just think that's his personality. He's ultra competitive. He's a great competitor. So people around here love him. And last night, you know, I don't blame him for getting a little upset. Alex Condon was thrown to the floor. Ironically, the guy that hit the game-winning 3 for West Virginia was the guy that got into the altercation with Alex Condon. Golden was just backing up his guy. Ben McCollum backing up his guy. I didn't see any issue with it one way or the other.
Okay. All right. If a North Carolina came calling, if a Kansas, Bill Self has said he's going to evaluate his health when he gets home and kind of look at things. If one of them came calling and offering big money, Florida matches and he stays, no problem? Or is there any thought that he might jump to a school that basketball is considered the top dog?
Florida would match. Would he leave? That would be up to him, but it's not going to be a money issue with Todd Golden. I think it's going to be very similar to Billy Donovan. I think Todd Golden's going to be in Gainesville for the next 3, 4, 5 years. I do think the NBA itch will be one that he scratches at some point. I'm an Orlando Magic fan. I've thrown out there on my show, if Orlando fires Jamal Mosley in the next couple of weeks, I would call Todd Golden right now. Gator fans, Soren, as you can imagine, did not like my thoughts on that. And I got all that negative feedback on social media. But I do think Todd Golden is the kind of guy like Billy that will leave for the NBA. It might be a little soon, but I would imagine Todd Golden in the next 5 years will be in the NBA somewhere.
All right. And then real quick, tell me about the Florida Gators, what the expectations are for next year when it comes to football. Are they expecting this team to get back, in the world of the transfer portal? It doesn't take long. Are they expecting this team to get back to being a SEC championship contender?
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is John Summerall's biggest issue when he got hired was his name wasn't Lane Kiffin. Once people got past that, once he had the introductory press conference, once he did what he did in the portal, fans around here really like what John Summerall has done. We'll ultimately see what happens. But, yeah, the expectation is to compete, is to get back in the playoff. We won't know about wins and losses until September. But for the here and now, 2.5 months into the job, Summerall is saying all the right things. He did a terrific job in the portal. He's winning fans over. He's literally doing everything right. We'll see what happens when wins and losses start mattering in September.
I know it's not a big move, but the Jags matching the offer sheet to Jake Bobo, 2 years, $5.5 million. Have they got everything they need to take another step forward, or is there still more work to be done in this offseason?
Oh, there's more work to be done. They have 11 draft picks, including 4 in the top 100 next month at the draft, which they're obviously going to be heavily invested on the defensive side of the ball. I'll tell you an under-the-radar signing for the fantasy football players out there in your neck of the woods in Kansas City. Chris Rodriguez to Jacksonville is one I would keep an eye on. He averaged 4.5 yards a carry in Washington, 500 yards and 6 touchdowns last year. Kingsbury, for some reason, just did not give him the ball very often Plus, Rodriguez has a relationship with Liam Cohen. They spent a year together at the University of Kentucky. That's a sneaky signing that not a lot of people paid attention to. With ETN's departure, it's going to be a running back by committee. Bayshell Tootin certainly will be involved. But Chris Rodriguez is the name to keep in mind if you're a fantasy football player out there in the Kansas City area, the new Jacksonville running back.
All right. Always never too early to start prepping for that fantasy football. And, you know, some of these nerds out here even do the dynasty leagues. So not a bad idea to get trading for them if you're in the dynasty leagues. Ryan Green in Jacksonville, Florida. Great stuff as always, buddy. We appreciate it. Have yourself a great week, my friend.
Hey, Soren, anytime, pal. Take care.
You're listening to the program here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Soren, Petro with you. Let's talk some Missouri Tiger basketball. The publisher of PowerMizzou.com joins us here in the program. Mr. Gabe DeArmond. His appearance brought to you by our friends at Roberts Robinson. It might be time for a new truck. Maybe the miles are starting to add up. Maybe you just got some big projects going on, and you are getting a step up. Maybe you need a bigger vehicle. Whatever the reason is, Roberts Robinson can help you out. If that thought has crossed your mind lately, it's a great time to act because it's Truck Month at Roberts Robinson Chevrolet GMC. I drove one of their beautiful Chevy Tahoes to Indianapolis and back. What a great vehicle. The folks at Roberts Robinson always make it easy, giving you top dollar for your trade, no pressure tactics. See them online right now at robertsrobinson.com. You can look at the entire inventory. Go to robertsrobinson.com and see for yourself why they just make it easy. Let's make it easy when it comes to Power Mizzou. Talking Mizzou athletics. Gabe DeArmond joins us here in the program. Gabe, how are you, sir?
Not bad. What's going on, Soren?
Well, not any local basketball. We that wrapped up in an opening weekend, but I don't know that we're shocked. Maybe there's a little surprise from some Kansas fans, but if they saw that St. John's game as more than a coin flip, I think they might have been kidding themselves. But Mizzou fans were hoping for at least the second round. They didn't get it. How disappointed should they be in the effort against Miami?
I think disappointed. It's a combination of things. I mean, Miami's a better team. I don't know how you could watch that game and not think that. That game played out very much kind of the way I expected, which was for one of the few times you looked at a matchup and go, oh, wait, they have a Mark Mitchell too, right? Like Malik Renew kind of was going to cancel out Mark Mitchell, even if Mark played well, I think. And then you looked at the supporting cast, and I just liked what Miami had a little bit better. Now, that does not prevent you from winning a game. And I think had Missouri won one game and then bowed out to Purdue, which I very confident they would have, I think you would have looked at it and said, well, they were one of the last 32 teams. That's probably about what this team is. Somewhere between, I don't know, rank them anywhere you want from 28 to 40 probably, and that would be about fair. And so I think, it's twofold. Number one, you didn't quite get that. And then number two, like we're at the end of year 4. When is it okay to expect something more than just getting there? I listen to you and a lot of other people. I grew up on really two different eras of Chiefs football, first with Marty and then kind of the Trent Green years where you looked at the team and they almost always got there, but you just never started it with a feeling that it was a team that could do something once they were there. And that's kind of where it seems like this program is right now. Yeah, they've been there 3 times in 4 years, and that's not nothing. But they also never went into it with a team that gave you much hope that they were going to be there by the second week.
Yeah, that's. I think that encompasses it. And they did they not play well, or did they just? Is that kidding ourselves? Did they just play like they always play? And to your point, Miami's better, or do you think that they were capable of a significantly better effort?
Well, I think they were capable of winning that game because for 30 minutes, I don't think Miami was any good either. It was really the third straight game where Missouri went in down 1 possession at halftime, and I thought they are lucky not to be down 20. Miami didn't score for the last 4 minutes or so of the first half. I thought the crowd, and I think Missouri fans deserve a lot of credit, I thought the crowd rattled Miami late in the first half and got Missouri back into it and was just looking for a reason to explode. But you can't win an NCAA tournament game shooting 35% from the field. Trent Pierce, Teal Barrett, and Jacob Cruz combined to go 2 for 22 and 1 for 13 from three-point range. That's not good enough. And we talked last week about who needs to step up, right? And we said somebody. Well, the one thing we didn't talk about was what happens if you don't get the normal Mark Mitchell? And they didn't get the normal Mark Mitchell. And I think Miami deserves a lot of credit for that. The way they defended him, I thought threw him off a little bit. He had 5 turnovers, and 9 of his 19 points came on late threes. And I thought there was a significant portion of that game where he looked hesitant. And I had not seen that out of Mark all year. He looked kind of like he wasn't sure how to attack that defense.
Yeah, no, it did seem like they were a little bit thrown off. And it was kind of the same feeling at my place as we were watching it. I'm like, well, that's ugly, but they're in it. Like, they're down one. You kind of felt like, okay, they can't play much worse. A buddy of mine's a coach, and he was over, and he's like, this is sorry basketball. This is just sorry. And
it's horrid.
He's like, but rock fights are rock fights. There were a number of games that were, the St. John's Kansas game was a rock fight. Somebody comes out a winner. Iowa talked about their game, that it wasn't pretty, but we found a way to get it done. I mean, a lot of times that's tournament basketball, particularly the way the refs will let you play a little bit more in the NCAA tournament, but there seemed to be no other gear, right? Like they could not find it. Miami finally found it, and they were the ones that ran away. Is that indicative? Is that a common theme with Dennis Gates' teams?
It seems to be lately, and in March. I mean, they took the 54-52 lead, and I'm telling you, in that building, Soren, that crowd so badly wanted a 2-possession lead to just absolutely explode. And Missouri couldn't do it, and then, we break this down from 9 million different angles, and shockingly, the team that just finally gets the ball to go in the basket wins, right? Miami made some shots in the last 8 minutes, and Missouri just never did. And some of those shots were open, but some of those shots were, Trey Donaldson made a couple of really tough threes that really took the wind out of Missouri's sails and kept Miami in it when they had to have them. And they made plays and Missouri didn't. And yes, we've talked, they've lost 9 out of their last 10 games in March. And I think maybe 14 out of the last 15, if you go back 3 years, but I kind of, 3 years ago, I don't count because they pretty much lost every game 3 years ago. So I really look at the last 2 years like he's had good teams that have gone 1-9 down the stretch. And that is an issue, right? I mean, it's not just Friday. It's Friday plus Drake plus Princeton plus Kentucky in the SEC tournament. And when tournament play has come, this team has kind of wilted under the brightest lights. And different players and all that, but yeah, it's a thing until it's not.
Is it? How much should we give the possibility that it's a 4-game sample size? Dennis Gates is 1-3. For
sure.
Yeah, he's 1-3 in tournament games, and it's unfair but it's reality, right? Like maybe unfair is not. I think it's fair to judge somebody when you're making millions of dollars and running a multi-million-dollar corporation. Let's be honest, that's what a college basketball program at the highest level is. It's okay to go ahead and judge them after one game, after one tournament game. That's all you have to go on, and so you give your returns. I always say I reserve the right to change my opinion with new information. Yeah. So the early returns are not good, but does he need to shake up the staff? Do we have enough returns to say he's got to get some other people around him? If he has not been able to find the right buttons to push tournament time, he has not been able to find the right offense to run with his teams, he needs to get somebody onto that staff that can help him.
I'm willing to give it next year before I say that. Like you said, it is fair to judge based on what has happened so far. It is not fair to say your mind is made up, right? If more evidence is presented, then you have to be willing to change your mind. And I think next year is the year he needs to present that evidence with Jason Crow leading this recruiting class coming in. Let's go see what he does in the portal next month and what kind of team he puts on the floor. I mean, the reality is he's been a favorite in 2 tournament games. He's 0-2 in those. He's been an underdog in 2 tournament games, and he's 1-1. Like, Missouri was supposed to lose Friday night. But the issue is, and it's where the scheduling comes in, the idea that he said, well, we were hurt and our season didn't start until January. All 4 months count leading up to March. And, I remember, it's been a long time, but I remember KU fans worried that Bill Self couldn't win the big one. Like, he can get close, but he can't get it done. And I just kept telling my friends that were KU fans, like, look, man, if you're a 1, 2, or 3 seed every year, eventually it's going to fall your way. And you're going to get there. And that's what happened. And so now, if you are a 4 seed, if you are a 3 seed, if you're even a 5 seed, like, the idea is your first day in the tournament's not that hard. You should be able to play a C-plus game and win, right? But if you're consistently a 7 seed, a 10 seed, what Gates has been, well, that first day is hard and you have to play well. And if you don't play well, you're going to go home. And that's what has happened to Missouri now. So I think the key for him is, let's maybe create a little more urgency in the regular season. And instead of going in this toss-up game where you go, yeah, if you play that team 10 times, you probably split 5-5. Maybe go in as a seed where you're looking at that first game and going, yeah, we ought to win this one 8 out of 10 times. And then the round 2 game is the toss-up.
What happened to T.O. Barrett?
Frankly, I think teams got film on him and put him at the top of the scouting report and figured it out. I think his first 6 to 8 games, like it was still a little bit, he was not the guy that was, everybody prepared for Anthony Robinson to be running that team. And then when T.O. Barrett did, he's a different player with different strengths. And I think he caught some people off guard. And I think after 6 or 8 games of that, people looked at it and said, okay, here's how we defended. We're going to put everybody in the paint because he's not going to beat us from outside. And if Trent Pierce and Jacob Cruz and Jaden Stone beat us from outside, so be it. Tip your hat, move on. But we're going to take the chance that they can't do it. I just looked it up this morning. In T.O.'s last 5 games, he averaged 7-point-something points. He shot 30% from the field, and he did not make a single three. And his free throw percentage went from 80 to 66. Teams figure it out, right? When they get tape on you, I mean, you see it all the time. Guys break out. I mean, their first 3 weeks in the big leagues, they hit, 480. And then all of a sudden teams start going, yeah, but he really can't hit the corner, the slider on the outside corner. If we just throw him those, he's a 220 hitter, and that's what happened.
Yeah, it definitely looks like that. Like, okay, we don't know what this guy is, and he just thundered down the lane, and they'd be like, "Oh my God, I'm shocked. This guy went to the rim." And they said, "Okay, we're not going to let that happen anymore. We're taking that away from you, and now go ahead and beat us." Was it a mistake to ever go to him? I mean, they ended up with Robinson running the show for the most part in this game. Should they have just taken their lumps and waited it out, fought through the downtime with Robinson, and would they have been a better team if they'd have never turned away from him?
I don't. I mean, it's impossible to say, right? But I don't know that this team makes the tournament the way Ant was playing. I mean, he was really struggling, and whether there are reasons beyond just he wasn't playing well for that, we don't know, and probably never will know. But the irony is, if you get the Anthony Robinson that you got on Friday night, if that's the guy you get all year, this team is probably a 6 or 7 seed and wins a game. If you get the Jaden Stone that you got on Friday night for the last month, this team is probably in significantly better position. But they didn't get that, and when they did get those two things, then what they got was bad T.O. Barrett and a little bit off his game Mark Mitchell. And it just bottom line was this team had 6 to 7 guys that they could play on any given night. And when that's the case, you need 3 or 4 of them to play well every night, and they usually didn't get that.
Was there an option to Cruz? That's the name that everybody seems to be so frustrated with coming down the stretch, that he really at one point looked like a great guy to put in and get some instant offense, but it has not been that for quite some time. Was there another option besides Cruz, or was the die cast by the time they got there?
Yeah, I mean, the option was Trent Pierce, and he was equally as bad on Friday night. Like, I understood all the people that said, our postgame show was a 52% F Dennis Gates, what's he doing, and 48% F Jacob Cruz, why is he in the game? And I said, I get it, guys. It wasn't ideal, but Trent Pierce had given Missouri nothing on that night. Like, he was 1 for 6 or 1 for 7 from 3. And frankly, just the toughness and the effort on the boards, and it just wasn't really there, So I think Dennis Gates went with the guy that he said, well, if I'm not getting production, maybe at least I'm getting effort. Maybe at least I'm getting a little more toughness. But neither one of them was certainly good enough, and that was the problem with this team really all season long. There were so many times I looked out on the floor and go, well, I don't like this lineup. And then I looked at the bench and go, well, I don't like the alternatives. I mean, at some point you have to play 5 guys unless you go Norman Dale. And I don't know that going 3 on 5 would have served them any better.
Yeah. How would you describe the style of play of Dennis Gates?
The weird thing is this year was very different than, his last 2 good teams. I mean, his last 2 good teams were up and down and trying to score 90 and hitting a bunch of jump shots and getting a bunch of steals and all that. And what I said frequently in his first 3 years was, even when they don't win, this is so much more fun to watch than what I was used to watching under Conzo Martin. And this team looked a lot more like a Conzo Martin team. The pace was slow. It didn't take the ball away much. There wasn't much transition. They didn't rely on a lot of three-pointers, and it looked a lot like one-on-one basketball. So the irony was this team got better at a lot of the things that his first three teams were criticized for. But then they got worse at the things that actually made those teams good, and the end result was pretty much exactly the same product. I think ideally what he wants is what Leonard Hamilton had at Florida State, which is like when you line those five guys up, you look out and you go, I don't really know which one's the shooting guard and which one's the power forward. Like I just have five guys that are like 6'6" to 6'10" with really long arms and they can jump out of the gym and they're all over the place. But he has not yet gotten a roster where that's been the case.
Is that not possible in today's style of with the limitations that come that you got to pour money into your starting lineup? I mean, is that something that can shake out as we kind of figure out how to budget our money and who to spend it on, or do you think it's just a flaw in his ability to identify talent?
Yeah, I'm not ready to say, because like if you look at when he was on the staff at Florida State and really his first few teams here, like he has found some guys, right, that not everybody thought were, like when Caleb Grill and Tamar Bates came here, nobody thought that highly of them. I mean, we all know the Dan Dockich rants about Tamar Bates, and I don't put any stock in him, but like he made Tamar Bates a much better player. Kobe Brown was a good player, not what he made him. That first team was mostly made up of Cleveland State guys. Like Ben McCollum is getting all the praise and absolutely deserves it. I don't want to say he doesn't, but he basically just beat Florida with Northwest Missouri State, and so like I think Gates can find some guys. I think he can identify talent, but the oddity is the highly ranked guys he's gotten really haven't turned into a whole lot. And I think there's a fair point of, okay, you want to play the Leonard Hamilton style, cool, but like, what did the Leonard Hamilton style ever really win? Like, yeah, he got there, but outside of 1 year, he didn't do a whole lot. So, I think he has to take a look. I mean, he's got a guy that the upside for Jason Crow Jr. is Darius Acup. Like, I'm not predicting that that's what Crow is next year. Well, I don't think a lot of people maybe thought that that's what Acup was going to be this year. So he's the guy you build around, right? He's in an ideal world only going to be here 1 year. And so let's see the pieces you can put around him and what you can do with a guy that I think realistically you say, yes, should be one of the 5 to 10 best freshmen in America next year.
So where does that leave us with an extension for Dennis Gates? We're talking to Gabe DeArmond, by the way, from Power Mizzou. Where does that put us? We've talked about that the last couple of times. We now have all the returns in. What does it look like now between Mizzou and him on his contract?
It's tough, man. I mean, I don't know where it will go. If Laird Beach believes he's the guy and there's another level, then it's not my money. Whatever. Do whatever you need to do. If you feel like, hey, I want to see what you do with next year's team and with this talent and what you get in the portal, I wouldn't fault Missouri for saying we're not going to do it this year. And you understand what that might mean a year or two down the road, right? Like I talked about it a lot on Friday night after the game. I wrote some about it, and I have no fear of saying it now. I have serious questions whether either side views this as a long-term marriage right now. I mean, he's going to be here next year. I think there's I mean, I never say anything, certainly, but I feel pretty good. He's the coach next year, and then we'll see after that, right? Where it goes on both sides. But I did not walk out of that press conference on Friday night feeling like, yeah, there's just gung-ho 100% agreement on both sides that, hey, we're going forward and everything feels great and we know the future is good.
Well, what are the chances that he looks around and says, you know what, it's going to be make or break next year? I think they're very small, but I'm going to ask the question anyway, just based on the recruiting class he's got coming in. But what are the chances he looks around and goes, I need to restart the shot clock and I'll take a lateral move just to get the, not go into, I mean, I think we can all agree next year's make or break, right, if he's back?
Well, I mean, like, I don't know if you make the tournament and either and lose on the first weekend again, been to the tournament 4 times in 5 years. Are they firing him for that? I don't know. So it is critical. I would not go so far as to say make or break, but I think there's a scenario where after next season, yes, he leaves and it's his choice in the situation you're talking about. This year, I mean, you look around, I don't know, I think there has to at least be a job open that, coaches don't want to just tell you, hey, I'm taking a step down by choice, right? And he does have Crow coming in, and I do think there's money available for him in the portal. So I think he absolutely is going to take his shot next year, because when you look around, I mean, you're leaving for Providence, you're leaving for Syracuse, you're leaving for, USF if Providence hires that guy. I mean, there just aren't jobs to me that make sense. Where it can even be sold as a lateral move. They'd mostly be downward moves, and I don't think that's going to happen. But if next year does not deliver what Missouri fans want or what Gates wants, I can certainly see a situation after next year where he says, I don't know how much they love me. They wouldn't commit to me last year. Maybe I'll do the thing where I just take a job where people look at it and go, I don't know if that's really makes a whole lot of sense to me. But, I can see that 12 months from now, but I've got a hard time seeing it now.
I mean, we saw Frank Haith leave for Tulsa. We saw Andy Enfield leave USC for SMU. I mean, what's his name at Maryland now? Buzz
Williams.
Buzz Williams.
Yeah.
He jumps every 5 years like clockwork.
It's absolutely something that, I've talked out loud about, and I don't think you can dismiss. I just don't think it's this year.
Yeah, that makes sense. We're talking to Gabe DeArmond here in the program about these Missouri Tigers and where they stand coming off their loss to Miami. And, it's a lot, we had a lot of questions going in. We got a lot of questions coming out. I think that's the easiest way to put it as to where things sit. Let's get to our Final Four with Gabe. Gabe, let's just begin with this. Yes or no extension for Dennis Gates in some way, shape, or form?
Boy, I would lean more toward no, but I think I'd say the same thing I said last week. If they give him one, I don't think it's more money.
Yeah.
I don't think it's this signal that there's this big commitment for the future.
All right. Who you got winning it all?
I've still got Arizona, but I'll tell you this, man. I sat down and watched 40 minutes of Iowa State for the first time yesterday. And when the ball goes in the basket, that is a damn fun team to watch.
Yeah, they are very impressive. Who's a better coach, Dennis Gates or Ben McCollum?
I mean, I think it's Ben McCollum at this point. I think Ben McCollum, what he's done in 1 year at Drake and 1 year at Iowa, I think you could ask that question, Ben McCollum or fill in the blank, and there aren't more than maybe 10 guys that you answer the other guy.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's just amazing to think that he was sitting there and nobody, even in the region, gobbled him up until finally Drake offered for him.
And there have been a lot of people that have said, look, the job he got was the one he was waiting for.
Yeah.
He could have left and he didn't because he's an Iowa guy and that's where he was always going to go.
Yeah. All right, who are you rooting for in this tournament? You're picking Arizona, but you got a team you're rooting for now?
Boy, I really don't. I'm rooting against Alabama. I'll be honest. My sports fandom, once my team is out of it, whether it's the team I cover or the team I cheer for, my sports fandom is much more based on cheering against people than cheering for anyone. As long as the teams or the coaches I don't like lose, then whatever. There's 4 or 5, 6 teams that it'd be fine if they won it. Wouldn't bother me.
Yeah, I like it. Against Alabama. I'll take it. That's a great answer. Gabe, you're the man. Great stuff. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you on down the road, my friend.
All right. Have a good one. Thanks for having me.
All right, wrapping up hour number 3 of the program. Always great to talk to Gabe Yarman.
Mm-hmm.
He's as good as it gets.
Yep.
Breaking it down. Always very honest in his assessment of what's going on with the Tigers. We'll get the same kind of thing from the Kansas Jayhawks side. Henry Greenstein from Lawrence Journal World will join us coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. Sports editor for the Lawrence Journal World. We'll talk about the Jayhawks, but not ready to say, like, make or break next year. Which
I think it is.
For you, it is.
Yeah.
But maybe not so much for the Tigers.
I need to see something besides flatline.
Yeah. It does feel like a plateau.
Besides just show up for work.
Does feel like a bit of a plateau. He's got a great recruiting class coming in. Hopefully it will be better next year for the Tigers. Is Bill Self going to be back? Let's talk about it with Henry Greenstein. It's coming up after we give you what you need to know.
All right, since 1985, how many times has the Sweet 16 contained no double-digit seeds? Brought to you by Lafetta Delicatessen.
Fourth quarter of the program begins right now. We're going to talk some Kansas basketball coming up shortly. Henry Greenstein, sports editor for the Lawrence Journal-World. Talk some Jayhawk hoops.
Our first ever guest, regular guest, whose name was Henry. I notice weird things.
Sure.
I can't think of anybody. It's good to have a Henry.
What about a Hank?
Hanks are okay. Henry's, I mean, it's kind of especially because, for someone who's a little younger, he's younger than us, not many Henrys.
Most people are younger than us. I don't know if you've realized.
Yes,
we're getting up there.
Absolutely. Not many Henrys in their 20s and 30s these days. I kind of like it.
Okay. Good to know.
Trend of going to older, old-fashioned names I kind of dig.
Okay. Sounds good. Thanks for sharing.
I thought it was important. I thought it was something people needed to know. You need to know that.
You need to know that Henry's coming back.
Yes. I like Henry.
All right.
Good job.
I think he does a good job. That's why we had him, booked him to come on and talk Kansas.
Yeah. We don't usually book someone who this guy's terrible. Let's get him back on again.
Well, that was awful. See if you can do next week.
Yeah,
something that you don't normally hear.
No, things
here in the
you
program.
never hear.
Yeah. Travis Kelce's going to be a Chief. You already knew that, but he's officially signed his contract. Reports have it at 3 years, $54.7 million. Could be worth up to $57.7 million. However, he is going to make the $12 million in year one with up to $3 million in incentives. Basically, this is a lot of show. It's a one-year deal.
Mm-hmm.
It'll either be torn up and redone or just cut. One or the other. That's but it's there. It's news. If you dig a little deeper, you'll find out it really is the 1 for 12 with $3 million in incentives that can be reached. But we give you the things you need to know, and you needed to know.
Yes,
he's signed, sealed, and delivered.
We look beyond the headlines.
That's right. We sure do.
We dig deep.
How about Bill Self? What's his future? He was asked about it after the game.
Given what you've gone through on and off the court, how much time will you take to reflect upon what is next on this stage of your career?
Well, I haven't really gone through much on the court. I've gone through some stuff off the court, so I'll get back and get with family and visit and see what's going on. I love what I do. I need to be able to do it where I'm feeling good and healthy to do it, fairly well. So I'll get back home and it'll all be discussed.
Sam McDowell, Kansas City Star. Bill, the previous answer you had, I just want to make sure I interpret it correctly. You haven't decided about whether or not you'll coach next year yet?
No, I haven't decided. I'll get back and visit with family, and I've had some obviously some issues off the court health-wise, and that'll be discussed. But I love what I do. I want to feel good while I'm doing it, though. So we'll get back and we'll discuss that when we get back.
Have you decided whether or not you'll coach next year? No. That's
what that was.
There's been things knocked around. That's from the horse's mouth right there.
Well, and I'm going to reiterate. I feel vindicated based upon what I've seen.
Absolutely.
That is it definitely his final year? No. Could it be? Yes. He took in that scene against Arizona.
You had a lot of pushback when you first started talking about that, and you're looking pretty good right now.
Yeah. I listen. I might not be right.
Yeah.
But he definitely didn't say I'm not coming back, but. That was a guy who was at least contemplating walking away. It was a different Bill Self walking around that arena after the Arizona game.
Mm-hmm.
He did something we don't see him do.
Nope.
I don't know why that would be, so shocking. But who's? I mean, you're going to hear Jeremy Case and Jacques Vaughn as two candidates. Is that where it ends, or do you go outside the program?
If that happens, Kansas fans are going to be upset.
You think?
I don't think they want.
You don't think Jacques Vaughn? I think Jeremy Case, the fact that Jeremy Case didn't get since Jacques Vaughn was given the clipboard, so to speak, when Bill Self was out, I think it'll be a tough sell for Jeremy Case. Yeah. I know he's the associate head coach, but that'll be a tough sell. I think there'll be some pushback there. But Jacques Vaughn's been an NBA head coach. I mean, Jacques Vaughn's been in an NBA front office. Jacques Vaughn's resume is complete.
Absolutely. I won't push back against that. I'm not saying it'll be a bad hire, but from what just a few people I hear kind of knocking that around, That would not be. I think Kansas fans, at least a large percentage of them, think that they may be correct. Any coach in the country will answer the call from Lawrence, Kansas, and they're looking for somebody who's won national titles or been to Final Fours. And they're not looking for a guy making his first, just debuting as a Power 5 head coach at Kansas.
Well, that's interesting because some people, I know that are Kansas fans are like, well, Golden would be my guy. But you said have won national titles.
Been on that level. At least been to some Final Fours.
Been to the Final Fours, but having won a national title, so let's talk about Todd Golden because he's young and has done that. If you've won a national title where you're at, do you really need to go anywhere else? Like I think it would have been easier to jump, to a Kansas before NIL and portal.
Mm-hmm.
But like the returns right now are that it does not matter whether you're at Florida, and Florida's got some history, by the way.
Yeah,
it does not matter that you get to Kansas near as much. It seems with Indiana winning in football and Nebraska making strides in basketball now. So it might be, I don't know, maybe a little bit rougher.
I saw I was looking for this tweet. Somebody had what the latest odds were for the next coach at North Carolina. And
I saw that too, and I was just looking for
everybody.
that.
I mean, it was like,
it was.
Did that guy take? I think Todd Golden was on that list.
Todd Golden was on that list. That's one of the reasons why I brought it up.
Yeah.
I saw that exact same list.
I'm trying to find the same thing.
And
that wasn't it.
Here
it is.
Okay.
Here it is.
So this is for
next
North
UNC
Carolina
coach
if it opens.
Yes, and that is
because they didn't fire Hubert Davis yet.
Not yet. I'm trying to get this thing to open. Here we go. Number 1, Todd Golden, 3-1. Mark Byington, Vandy.
Now keep in mind this is about setting odds that people will bet on.
Yeah. Mark Byington, 4-1. He's at Vandy. T.J. Otzelberger, 5-1. Nate Oates, 6-1. Dusty May, 7-1. Billy Donovan, 8-1. Sean May, 10-1. Where is Sean May? At the former Carolina coach?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Former player.
Yeah, former player. He was on the 05 team. Grant McCaslin, who's at Texas Tech, 11-1. Tommy Lloyd of Arizona, 12-1. Scott Drew, 14-1. Rick Pitino, 15. Jerry Stackhouse, 16. Where is he now?
I don't even
He was
know.
at Vandy for a while. Jay Wright, 18. Jeff Lebo, then last 3 are former Tar Heel players. Jeff Lebo, King Rice, Marcus Page, 20, 20, and 22-1.
Didn't blow you away.
No.
They had some problems on offense. Bill Self was asked about the struggles on that end.
Well, I didn't think we ever got rhythm offensively the whole year. It's one thing to get rhythm, but it's another thing when you go against teams like Houston and Arizona and St. John's that guard differently than other teams guard you. So it's a little easier to get rhythm when you're comfortable. And the key to having rhythm is doing it when you're put under duress. And I didn't think we handled that very well at all. At the end, we were aggressive and played to athletic ability and went and made athletic plays, which was great. But certainly, frustrating years would be probably too much to say. But it's certainly a year that didn't seem like it was. Nothing about it was very smooth. It seemed like to me we were having to adjust on the fly quite a bit.
And they were adjusting a lot because of Darren Peterson in and out of the lineup. Self was asked how he felt Peterson played in his final game at KU.
Well, I thought he played well, and I thought he played really hard. The thing about it is, when you guard as well and as hard as what St. John's does, those shots are hard shots. And you switch coming off every screen and all that stuff. Those are hard. Those are hard plays. I thought he competed hard. I was really proud of his effort. He's had moments where he's looked great and moments where obviously his health didn't allow him to play like we all know he's capable of playing. But I hope the year was enjoyable for him. I know I enjoyed being around him an awful lot.
Put up the points, also played some defense. I think he had like 4 blocks. He was not a no-show in the final game, but St. John's was just too much. Let's talk about the future of Kansas basketball, the future of Bill Self, and how it went down. Henry Greenstein from the Lawrence Journal-World joins us next.
Due to circumstances beyond our control, we now present
The Program with Soren Petro.
weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
A big thank you to my friends at Applause Custom Sight and Sound, Kansas City's best when it comes to smart home technology, smart office technology. That's right, more and more Applause is installing their great system in offices, right? If you need rocket-fast Wi-Fi, everybody networked together, you want a state-of-the-art office, well, call Applause Custom Sight and Sound at 913-498-1183. My thanks to Applause for setting up my man cave. Listen, my basement was where we all came together on Friday to watch some NCAA tournament action. A video wall is what we produce. That's their technical term. I like to call it my football theater, except for 2 weeks, it becomes my NCAA theater. Listen, I've got all the TVs. We had all 4 games up, and we could just switch around on the middle one. I can flip-flop the screens all with a touch of a button. I can turn everything off all with a touch of a button. I can turn everything on all with a touch of a button. Integrating the lighting, the music, the sound, the perfect surround sound. Sounded like we were in the gym. You can hear the shoes squeaking on one side of you. It's just a great setup. Applause Custom Sight and Sound's been doing this for more than 20 years in an industry where most companies don't even last 2. They are Kansas City's best. On the cutting edge of technology, absolutely, but great craftsmen as well. You know what that means? That means whether you're building new or renovating, yeah, it's easy once the walls are open up. But even if you're done, if your office or your home is already done, they can still wire you up for true smart home technology. And they build it right the first time. That matters because eventually you're going to want to add on. Hey, let's add this. I'd like to do that. How about outside? I'd like rocket-fast Wi-Fi outside. You don't want them having to come in and start everything over. That's what happens with those other companies. Applause builds it right the first time. I know, because just about a year and a half ago, we added security and surveillance. They didn't have to cut one hole. We just added on to the system that was already in place. It only took about a day and a half. Kansas City's best is Applause Custom Sight and Sound. Find them online at applausetheater.com or call 913-498-1183. That's 913-498-1183. Again, on the web, it's applausetheater.com.
Midwest weather can turn on you fast. 1 minute it's sunny, and the next hail's beating your car. Your vehicle is an investment, so don't let dents and dings stick around. Reed Collision Center can help take the hassle out of the process. Our highly skilled technicians can remove dents utilizing paintless dent repair to get your car looking great again. With 3 locations, find the one nearest you at reedcollision.com to see why we are the region's best dealership experience.